Chapter 2563. Great Emperor Zhu Yang's body was also easily destroyed by Qin Yun. So what if it was the nine heavens' divine body? It was still destroyed in an instant. Everyone looked at Great Emperor Zhu Yang's body that exploded into many pieces and began to discuss in alarm. This was a very powerful nine heavens' divine body. When Great Emperor Zhu Yang fused with this nine heavens' divine body, he caused a very big commotion. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor personally witnessed Great Emperor Zhu Yang fusing with his body, but now he was destroyed by Qin Yun's kick. Everyone thought that the battle between Qin Yun and Great Emperor Zhu Yang would cause a very big commotion, so they hid far away. Qin Yun did make a move, but every move was very short. Moreover, it was very straightforward and efficient. He killed people in an instant without causing too much commotion. After Great Emperor Zhu Yang was killed, Great Emperor Sorrow Emperor's wife did not even look back and ran far away towards the teleportation formation in the center of Heavenly Emperor City. The 8th Sect Master and the other law enforcement experts are all at a loss. They stared blankly. By the time they reacted, Qin Yun is already rushing towards the sad emotion Heavenly Emperor. Don't even think of running, your family should be together. Qin Yun sneered and used Void Crossing Step to travel through space. Combined with the Light Transformation Sacred Pupil, he caught up to Great Emperor Sorrow Emperor in 2 blinks of an eye. Great Emperor Sorrow Emperor's body was already heavily injured by Qin Yun's Heavenly Lion's heavenly roar. With their strength, they were unable to contend against Qin Yun. Great Emperor Sorrow Emperor sensed danger approaching. Her soul immediately broke out of her heavily injured body and flew out, abandoning her body to escape. She really did not expect that Qin Yun, who was very weak not long ago, would grow to this stage in such a short period of time. Qin Yun was still unable to completely destroy the soul of the Divine Sun Descendant, but without a strong enough body, when facing Qin Yun, they would be instantly destroyed like clay figurines. Want to run? Qin Yun has already sent Great Emperor Zhu Yang's soul into the soul creation Heavenly Cauldron. He increased his speed and chased after Great Emperor Sorrow Emperor. After Qin Yun rushed over, he took out the soul creation Heavenly Cauldron and quickly carved with both hands. In an instant, a nether moon totem appeared in the void. It turned into a huge net and covered the Great Emperor Sorrow Emperor's soul. Qin Yun's nether moon totem was no longer the same as before. Instead, it had been infused with Imperial Heaven divine power and strengthened by the Imperial Heaven Tao image. It could even suppress the soul of a divine sun descendant. After the sad emperor's soul was trapped, it fell to the ground and struggled madly. It had to be said that the soul of a descendant of the divine sun god was indeed very strong. It only took a few moves for it to pierce through the net formed by the nether moon totem. Qin Yun has already expected this, so he hastily released another layer of nether moon totem to cover it. As soon as the sad emperor's soul broke free, it was covered again. Then what fell was the soul creation Heavenly Cauldron. Qin Yun smoothly took away the sad emotion Great Emperor's soul and immediately chased after the other 2 heaven creation divine palaces Great Emperors. These Great Emperors had once persecuted Qin Yun's mother, the Chaos Divine Dragon, and had even attempted to force Yu Tian to submit to the Empyrean supremacy of the heavens. How could Qin Yun let them off? The 2 great emperors had abandoned their bodies just like the sad emperor, but their souls couldn't escape in the end. They were all sucked into the soul creation heaven cauldron. The 5 heaven-creating emperors were completely cold. At this moment, Qin Yun can be considered to have completely ended the era of the heaven creation divine palace. Next is the law enforcement world. Seeing Qin Yun eliminate the sad emotion Great Emperor, Ming Yunyue and Heavenly Evil Battle God are in a very good mood. Even Wang Haoyue is secretly pleased. After all, the Heaven Creation Divine Palace controls the poison of the poisoned sun god race. It can be used to deal with their bright moon sect. Qin Yun arrived at the center of the All-Heavens Empyrean city, and sent an earthquake divine ability power towards the center. In an instant, the entire All-Heavens Empyrean city collapsed and cracked. All the towering and majestic buildings inside were instantly destroyed and turned into ruins. I really didn't expect that I would have such a great harvest from attacking the city. Qin Yun looked at the 8,000 little divine suns in the sky. His blood-red eyes flickered with red light. He originally only planned to create panic in the Heaven Emperor city and suppress their arrogance. This would make them restrain themselves when they sealed the sky for 10 days. Qin Yun didn't expect that when he attacked the Heaven Creation Divine Palace, he would comprehend and control the extreme evil devil power. Then his strength soared and he defeated the Heaven Tao image and broke through. This allowed him to have the power to destroy the Heaven Emperor city. Even the 8th and 7th sects of the law enforcement world can't do anything to Qin Yun now. The Heaven Emperor city has been completely destroyed by the unceasing earthquake. The Heaven Divine Nation, which was arrogant in the Heaven God desolate for a short period of time, is gone just like that. The people outside the city looked at the smoke and dust billowing in the ruins and sighed endlessly. They no longer believe in the heavenly rules and Tao orthodoxy. Instead, they believe that whoever has the Divine King heavenly seal is an awesome Divine King. Otherwise, everything else is empty. Not good. That slut 8th sect master is controlling the little divine sun to set up a formation. Qin Yun is in danger. Imperial Demon Yao said in low voice. The 8,000 little divine suns in the sky are moving very quickly and forming a formation. The people watching from afar can now feel the scorching heat wave brought by the formation. After all, it is 8,000 little divine suns. Even if it is missing 2,000, as long as it is assembled properly, the power it can erupt with is still very strong. These 8,000 little divine suns should be enough to give birth to the 40th world divine sun, right? Qin Yun released the Divine King heavenly seal. He suddenly felt that he can use these 8,000 little divine suns as a primer to make the 40th world divine sun come into being. The 8th sect master said with sneer, Qin Yun, you are a heavenly traitor. In the end, you still won't be able to defeat our law enforcement world. The great formation has already been completed. The 8,000 little divine suns suddenly erupted with intense scorching light and then condensed into a huge light ball at the center. It is a very strong energy. Very good. Qin Yun nodded his head in satisfaction from below the great formation. Then he tightly held the Divine King heavenly seal and borrowed the divine power of 3 myriad realms divine suns. At the same time, Qin Yun released 2 sacred tribulation gates. They are the Nether Sun Tao image and Ling Yun Er's sacred tribulation gate. He released divine power through the Nether Sun to distort the space in the sky. Moreover, it formed a central devouring point in the sky. Ling Yuner also has little Nether Sunday. Although her little Nether Sun is not as strong as Qin Yun's, it is not weak either. Combined with Qin Yun's Nether Sun Tao image, it can unleash even stronger power. Especially now that she is in the Tao God realm, Ling Yun Er's little Nether Sun can easily fuse with Qin Yun's Nether Sun Tao image. After condensing a devouring point in the sky, Qin Yun controlled it and then used the Divine King heavenly seal to draw in the divine power of 3 myriad realms divine suns. With the help of 3 myriad realms divine suns, the devouring power of the devouring point became even more dreadful. The 3 myriad realms divine suns also released formidable devouring power to help strengthen the devouring power. Apart from this, the myriad realms divine suns also continuously released their own divine power into the devouring point. In just a few short moments, the devouring point turned into a large ball of intense light. Also at this time, the great formation formed by 8,000 little divine suns finally erupted. After the eruption, before they even started attacking Qin Yun, the little divine suns suddenly dispersed and burst out with intense, scorching energy. They turned into flowing clouds and rushed towards the devouring point. Like a golden river, it surged towards the devouring point. Qin Yun continued through the two sacred tribulation gates, released an extremely strong gravity wave and rushed towards the sky, pushing the 8,000 little divine suns towards the devouring point. The 8th sect master and 7th sect master are completely dumbfounded. The 8,000 little divine suns are now like kites with broken strings. They are completely out of their control and rush towards the distant sky. Everyone looked at the direction of the 8,000 little divine suns in the sky, then looked at Qin Yun on the ground, as well as the two huge sacred tribulation gates and the divine king heavenly seal in his hand. Everyone is very puzzled. What exactly did Qin Yun do to dissolve the great formation in an instant? He is creating myriad realms divine suns, the 8th sect master shouted angrily. Qin Yun, I will destroy you. The 8th sect master is only shouting. He really doesn't have the courage to rush over. Although his soul is not destroyed, he might be captured. The 8th sect master has already seen Qin Yun's strength. Qin Yun has the heavenly pig roar, no one can withstand it. The heavens divine desolate will have myriad realms 9 divine suns. And so far there are only 3. The 4th myriad realms divine sun has yet to appear, causing many people to look forward to it. Now, it is actually Qin Yun who is helping the 40th universe divine sun to be born. The fact that he has the ability to create myriad realms divine suns makes many people feel that it is inconceivable. The 8,000 little divine suns have all been devoured and gathered together to form a very large fireball in the sky. The other 3 myriad realms divine suns are constantly pouring their divine power into the huge fireball. Qin Yun also stopped because he discovered that the 40th universe divine sun's devouring point is secretly connected to other divine worlds and is currently devouring other divine worlds' divine suns. The 40th universe divine sun is finally coming out. Yu Yaoyao sighed and said, I truly underestimated Qin Yun. I never expected him to have such an important role in the heavens divine desolate. Role? He is the divine king of the heavens divine desolate. He has no role in the heavens divine desolate. He is the ruler of this place. Luo Yaofeng said. I'm afraid not. Yu Yaoyao shook her head and said, Luo, although you are the 9 heavens goddess, your understanding of this world is still too little. My family's brother Yun has broken the heavenly rules and Tao orthodoxy. He is no longer a tool. He has already reversed his fate. Luo Yaofeng lightly snorted and said, I want to see who dares to oppose him. Luo Yaofeng looked at the myriad realms divine sun in the sky and said with a sigh, You will know in the future. Not to mention the future, just the upcoming heaven sealing 10 days, when that time comes, Qin Yun will also face great trouble. The 8th and 7th sect masters have already been completely defeated. Their elite forces have all been killed, and they are completely unable to resist Qin Yun. Now, even if they can escape, it is still unknown. Qin Yun took a deep breath and looked at the 8th and 7th sect masters. He stepped across the air and immediately rushed over. This bastard! The 7th sect master shouted in a low voice. 8th brother, you block him. I will retreat first. Chapter 2564. After the 2 sect masters found it hard to move, they immediately realized that if they continue, they will definitely be killed. The 8th sect master's cultivation is relatively high. He has the strength to fight against Qin Yun, but he is very worried about Qin Yun's heavenly pig roar. Especially now, if Qin Yun uses heavenly pig roar on them, their bodies will definitely be finished and their souls might even be captured. Go! The 8th sect master's soul suddenly flew out of his body, turned into a ball of light and flew out of Qin Yun's gravity domain. After the 7th sect master saw this, he immediately reacted. He abandoned his body and ran away. Boom boom! 2 booms rang out, and the bodies of the 7th and 8th House Lords exploded. Qin Yun pointed two exploding heaven finger at the distance and exploded the bodies of the two sect masters. Then he chased after their fleeing souls. It has to be said that the 7th and 8th sect masters are very decisive. Their souls have already disappeared without a trace. Qin Yun also did not chase after them. There are still many divine heavenly monarchs of the 8th and 7th sect at the scene. Qin Yun killed them one by one. It can be said that under the level of 6-star divine heavenly monarchs, Qin Yun can't even last 2 moves before destroying their bodies. This frightening power made the people watching the battle from afar feel a deep sense of fear. The other powerhouses who had joined the divine kingdom of all heavens had long since disappeared. The heavenly sovereigns are finished. The heaven creation 5 emperors have fallen into Qin Yun's hands. Even the 7th and 8th sects are no match for Qin Yun. It can be said that the divine nations have been completely destroyed. If the other factions don't run away quickly, they will be beaten into meat paste in the end. It was very shocking when the 10,000 little divine sons appeared, but now they are all gone. Most of them have been used as sacrifices to create the 4th myriad realm's divine sun. Heaven's ceiling 10 sun should be coming soon. Imperial Demon Yao shouted at Qin Yun. Qin Yun, you better hide during this period of time. Law enforcement Great Sovereign will definitely come out personally. I won't hide. No matter how many law enforcement Great Sovereigns come, they will all die. Qin Yun replied. Then he took out the teleportation pearl and immediately teleported back to the outside of the heavenly sword formation. After returning, he returned to his original appearance and also felt very tired. Entering the Imperial Heaven state and releasing the limit of power still has some side effects. Fortunately, it is only fatigue. After entering the Through Heaven sword formation, Qin Yun released the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda and entered it. Ling Yun ran out and cultivated the 3rd level of the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra with Qin Yun to help him recover. Although he had experienced a few great battles, Qin Yun was very calm at the moment. He hugged the delicate and charming long-legged fairy and fell into a deep sleep. After waking up, Qin Yun immediately took out a voice transmission divine pearl and spread the news of the heaven sealing 10 suns. Feng Yu, Shui Yu, White Death, the Little Hall Spirit, and the Purple Sun Villa's elf Emperor Zhao quickly learned that the heaven sealing 10 was about to arrive. The Immortal Pawnshop also knew about the 10 days of sealing the heavens. Qin Yun flew towards the small celestial universe divine sun in the Tongtian sword formation and entered the Imperial Heaven Pawnshop. He came to the Imperial Heaven Pawnshop and entered the conference room. He took out the book and flipped to the first page to contact Heaven Destroyer. Grandfather, I have an urgent matter, quickly come out. Qin Yun anxiously shouted. He only has 4 talisman crystals left in his hand. The Heaven Destroyer immediately appeared and asked, Brat, what did you do in the Gods Desolate? Qin Yun only rested for half a day. With Ling Yun Er's help, he could recover in half a day. But in just half a day, the Heaven Destroyer unexpectedly received the news. Grandfather, what did you hear in the ancient Desolate? Qin Yun said with smile. I heard that in the Gods Desolate, there was a guy who used heavenly pig roar to kill many 6-star heavenly monarchs of the law enforcement realm. That guy even said that I am not even worthy to carry his shoes. He even said that he taught me heavenly pig roar. The Heaven Destroyer curled his lips and said, You are the one who said this, right? Right? Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. Am I not trying to prevent others from suspecting my relationship with you? Grandfather, your heavenly pig roar is very useful. I don't have many left, give me a few more. Give your uncle. This heavenly pig roar is very precious, okay? Even I don't usually use it, I only use it to save my life. The Heaven Destroyer lightly groaned and said, You have been targeted by the law enforcement realm? Why is the fight so intense this time? Qin Yun suddenly became solemn and said, I killed all the heavenly sovereigns. The Heaven Creation Emperors of the Heaven Creation Divine Palace have all been wiped out by me. There will no longer be any Heaven Creation Divine Palace. The Heaven Destroyer stared blankly for a moment, then nodded in satisfaction, and said with smile, "Not bad, my heavenly pig roar was not wasted. You actually managed to get rid of these guys before the heaven sealing 10 days. Very good, very good." The Heaven Destroyer is full of praise because Qin Yun's action this time is beyond his expectation. He thought that the heavenly sovereigns would be finished after a period of time. I devoured the heavenly Tao image of various heavenly venerables and cultivated the heavenly Tao image, however, my heavenly Tao image has not manifested. Grandfather, how should I cultivate the heavenly Tao image next? Qin Yun asked. I can't teach you because the heaven extermination Tao image I cultivate is completely different from your imperial heaven Tao image. The Heaven Destroyer laughed. Don't worry, your imperial heavenly Tao avatar is fine. My Heaven Destroyer avatar is still fine. My heaven extermination Tao image still hasn't manifested yet. Grandfather, what is your cultivation now? Qin Yun is somewhat surprised. The Heaven Destroyer must have cultivated the Heaven Destroyer Tao image for many years, but it still hasn't manifested. I am only Divine Heaven Lord now. In short, our Tao breakthrough is very slow but our power is very strong. You should have experienced it yourself. The Heaven Destroyer said. Oh, that's right, Grandfather. How did you become a 10-star anti-heaven thief? Qin Yun is very curious about this. I didn't do anything, I just killed a dozen or so law enforcement great sovereigns. The Heaven Destroyer very casually laughed and said, Those guys are really something, giving me this title is completely useless. Qin Yun is secretly apprehensive. Heaven Destroyer actually has such deep enmity with the law enforcement world. Then, is there really no more heavenly pig roar for me? Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Grandfather, I am your only grandson, can't you give me something to protect my life? I really don't have any. Wait until I get more talisman crystals, I will make some for you. The Heaven Destroyer sighed and said, Those talisman crystals are very precious. All right. After the heaven sealing 10 days arrives, what do I need to pay attention to? Qin Yun wants to take this opportunity to understand a bit more. Pay attention to what? You need to pay attention to a lot. The law enforcers will definitely take care of you. Other than that, with the arrival of the 10 days of sealing the heavens, there might be other fellows popping out. We also need to be very careful. He exhorted Qin Yun solemnly. Other fellows? Qin Yun was alarmed. The God's Desolate is very big, but some things have always been suppressed by the seal of the myriad realms' divine sun, so they can't come out. Once the 10 days of sealing the heavens arrived, they would most likely come out. Once they come out, they won't go back. Heaven Destroyer said, This is also something we need to pay attention to. Yes. Qin Yun nodded. He never expected that so many things would happen after the 10 days of heaven sealing. Heaven Destroyer said, Don't worry too much. Since you were able to destroy the supremacy sovereigns of the All Heavens, your current strength is considered very strong in the All Heavens divine wilderness. The main thing is not to go to the center? The center of the God Desolate Heavens? What exactly is there? Asked Qin Yun. I don't know either. All he knew was that the place was very complicated and chaotic. It might be a self-contained entity, and outsiders wouldn't be able to see what was there. It's going to be very difficult to get in. I just don't know if they'll come out. As Heaven Destroyer talked about this, his expression gradually changed. It gradually sunk. Originally, Heaven Destroyer wanted to talk more with Qin Yun, but he suddenly said that someone was chasing after him, so he immediately cut the conversation short. Qin Yun also left the 9-sun heaven raising pagoda and returned to Divine Moon Heaven City. On the way, he took out the sound transmission Divine Pearl and chatted with his friends, telling them that he is fine and is completely fine. When Qin Yun entered the Imperial Heaven State and controlled the extreme evil devil power, it made people very worried. Knowing that he is fine, his friends felt a lot more relieved. The news of the All Heavens sovereigns and divine nations being destroyed has also spread throughout the Through Heaven Sword formation. Especially inside Divine Moon Heaven City, many women are very happy to know about this matter. There are even some bold women who are running around without clothes. After Qin Yun entered Divine Moon Heaven City, he secretly flew to the Fragrant Charm Pavilion. If he ran into those passionate and hot Divine Moon Clan women on the way, Qin Yun is worried that he will be tormented until his back hurts. After returning to Divine Moon Heaven City, Qin Yun feels like he is playing hide and seek. Only Fragrant Charm Pavilion is safe. Although the All Heavens sovereigns have been killed, Qin Yun is still very worried about one thing. It is the matter of the traitor. Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoshua are already waiting for Qin Yun at the Fragrant Charm Pavilion. After Qin Yun arrived, he immediately asked them if they have discovered anything. Blood Moon Duke and Dark Moon Duke have been cultivating in seclusion and have not come out. Xiao Yun, you killed that bastard All Heavens sovereigns. Don't think too much. Your enemies are only law enforcers. Xian Rujing's delicate jade-like arms are wrapped around Qin Yun's neck. Sister Rujing, we should not relax our vigilance. Yi Yaoshua said with slight frown. Although there is nothing wrong with Blood Moon Duke and Dark Moon Duke, I still feel that something is wrong. Yu Tian said before that Mu Yu might have planted a traitor in Divine Moon Clan. Even Yu Shangyun doesn't know about this matter. Yu Shangyun trusts Mu Yu, so she doesn't have this kind of suspicion. But Yu Tian is different. Her experience is different from Yu Shangyun. Moreover, she is one of the 9 Sun Divine Daughters. Heaven Sealing 10 Sun is coming. You must keep a close eye on those 2 kings. Qin Yun said with sigh. Maybe I am being overly suspicious, but if there is a traitor, it will be very dangerous for Divine Moon Clan. He is now the acting clan emperor. If something happens to Divine Moon Clan, he doesn't know how to explain it to Yu Shangyun. Chapter 2565. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor helped Qin Yun before by disrupting the 8th Sex attack on Qin Yun's domain. Qin Yun noticed that Heavenly Ghost Ancestor's condition is somewhat chaotic and he is very curious. After learning that Heavenly Ghost Ancestor is outside, Qin Yun immediately went out. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor is tall and big. He is wearing a large black cloak. His black hair is fluttering in the wind. His face is full of wrinkles, but his hair is jet black, making him look very young and full of vitality. As for Qin Yun, he was dressed in simple white clothes and wore a hat. He came out alone. Senior, I made you wait for a long time. Qin Yun greeted him with smile. The Heavenly Dao altar was here earlier, but now it has run far away. Tian Dao Zi must be hiding to avoid the disaster of Heaven Sealing 10 Sunday. No, we old guys have been living like this for so many years. It's just a bit of time. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor laughed loudly and said, Palace King, your appearance before was really scary. It's good that you are fine now. Qin Yun took out the 9 Sun Heaven-raising pagoda and invited Heavenly Ghost Ancestor inside. After entering, Heavenly Ghost Ancestor sat down. Without even drinking tea, he anxiously asked, Palace King, although your cultivation is only Dao God realm, everyone knows that you are very capable. Moreover, you are the Divine King of Divine Desolate. I have encountered a big problem in my cultivation. Please give me some pointers. Qin Yun already saw that Heavenly Ghost Ancestor's body is in chaos, but he can't see it clearly. He needs to be very patient. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor also suffered heavy injuries when helping Qin Yun. Although he has recovered a lot now, his injuries are still there. Senior, your injuries are not light. The situation inside your body is very complicated. I am afraid that you can't handle it. Qin Yun said. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor became very excited. He drank the tea poured by Qin Yun and said with smile, It's fine, my old bones are very hard. You can see that my body is very complicated, it means there is hope. Qin Yun nodded and then opened his heavenly eye. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor saw Qin Yun's eyes emit blue light and can't help but feel a strong pressure. Qin Yun is using all his strength to open his heavenly eye. The blue light shot into Heavenly Ghost Ancestor's body is indeed very powerful. The realm beyond Shin Tianjun. What realm is this? Qin Yun frowned. Why is it like this? Senior, how many Tao images did you originally have? I originally only had 7 Tao images. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor said. After many years of seclusion, I suddenly comprehended something and then rushed forward with all my strength. I felt like I had broken through. And then? Qin Yun was still observing Heavenly Ghost Ancestor's condition. Then I became very strong. To be honest, when I had just broken through, I was indeed very powerful. I could even slap 100 venerable sovereigns to death in front of me. But later, I don't know why, but my condition became worse and worse. Gui Zhu shook his head. In order to find the reason, did you mess with your Tao image? Asked Qin Yun. I couldn't do anything about it, so I caused a problem with the Tao image. Fortunately, I'm gradually recovering now. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor's eyes were filled with hope. He looked at Qin Yun and asked, Palace King, what caused this? I'm in. What realm? I don't know what realm you are in, I also don't know how to name it. I only know that when you reach this realm, there is a space inside your Tao image that needs to be filled with something. Qin Yun said. Yes. My Tao image originally didn't have such a hollow space. Now that I'm in this realm, I need to cultivate something in that space. But why did my strength regress? Heavenly Ghost Ancestor said in a very depressed tone. Qin Yun said with smile. It's very obvious. Your Tao image has opened up a hollow space. It can't get any energy to replenish it, so it became very weak. You need to transform divine power into something stronger and let your Tao image absorb it. According to the hollow space inside your Tao image, you need to condense a pill inside it. My Tao image can absorb divine power. I ate many great tonics. My Tao image also absorbed a lot of divine power. Moreover, it doesn't look weak, it's just that the divine power it released is very weak. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor became even more doubtful. When you just broke through, all your Tao images were in their peak state, so you were naturally very strong at that time. My guess is that at that time, there should have been a ball of divine power condensed inside the hollow space. Qin Yun said. You exhausted that ball of divine power and didn't go to it. That's why it became like this. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor scratched his head and said with awkward smile, Maybe I didn't realize it at that time. I couldn't even look inside my Tao image. Qin Yun took out Pill Transformation Heavenly Furnace and said, Senior, you have already surpassed Shin Tianjun and entered a completely new realm. Even if your Tao image can absorb divine power, it can't transform it into even stronger divine power and condense it inside your Tao image's hollow space. This is the reason. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor nodded his head, then stared at Qin Yun's Pill Transformation Heavenly Furnace and asked, Then Palace King, do you have any method? I will now create even stronger divine power and see if your Tao image can absorb it or not. Qin Yun took out 10 Divine Universe Golden Stones and placed them inside Pill Transformation Heavenly Furnace. He wants to use Pill Transformation Heavenly Furnace to refine 10 Divine Universe Golden Stones into one, then the divine power inside will be greatly increased. The refinement speed is very fast. After refining this Pill Transformation Heavenly Furnace needs to cool down for a period of time before it can be refined again, otherwise it won't be able to handle it. Qin Yun handed over the pill to Heavenly Ghost Ancestor and said, Senior, eat this pill and try to absorb the energy inside the Divine Universe Golden Stones. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor immediately ate it and began cultivating. Very soon, His body overflowed with a burst of very strong aura. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and saw a golden cyclone condensing at the hollow space of Heavenly Ghost Ancestor's Heavenly Ghost Tao image. The Heavenly Ghost Tao image can very quickly absorb the divine power inside the pill and then consciously gather it at the hollow space of the Tao image. This level of Tao image can only absorb even stronger divine power. And if divine power is not strong enough, as soon as it enters the Tao image, it will be immediately digested by the Tao image and nothing will be left. Qin Yun said in secret. In other words, ordinary divine power is like water. After entering the Tao image, it won't have any effect. Ling Yuner said, ordinary divine power is not strong enough, so it can't be condensed and will eventually dissipate inside the Tao image. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor is very happy now because the pill Qin Yun gave him has condensed a ball of divine power in the hollow space of his 7 Tao images. Qin Yun, who is standing beside Heavenly Ghost Ancestor, also gradually sensed an indescribable pressure. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor's current strength is enough to slap dozens of myriad heaven's venerable emperors to death. That is absolutely not a boast. Is this the strength that surpasses Shin Tianjun? It must be known that Heavenly Ghost Ancestor's current state is still very chaotic. He has not entered the right path of cultivation, yet he is already so dreadful. Very good, I have finally recovered the feeling of cultivation. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor is very happy, he said with smile. Palace King, thank you so much, you are worthy of being the hope of myriad heavens divine desolate. Qin Yun waved his hand and said with smile, Senior, you flatter me. Palace King, do you still have that pill? The one I just ate won't last long. I won't take it for free. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor said. Eating that pill is not a long-term solution. I guess you need to wait for more myriad worlds divine suns to appear in myriad heavens divine desolate, only then will the overall divine power be strong enough. You might as well wait patiently. Qin Yun said. It seems like my breakthrough is too fast, this world can't keep up with my pace. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor said with mischievous smile. It's fine as long as you are sure that my breakthrough is correct. I was worried that my cultivation would regress. That's not true. Through Heavenly Ghost Ancestor's situation, Qin Yun learned that even if he surpasses Shen Tianjuan's cultivation, he still has to cultivate Tao images. Perhaps in the central region of the God Desolate Heavens, there are people who came into contact with this realm earlier. Perhaps they have even developed cultivation methods and arts. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor sighed, but even I don't have the courage to go. If this is really the case, then the center of myriad heavens divine desolate is indeed very powerful. While Qin Yun and Heavenly Ghost Ancestor are chatting, they suddenly sensed that the divine power around them is gradually weakening. It is reasonable to say that the 40th universe divine sun has already formed, so the divine power of myriad heavens divine desolate should be even denser. Now that it suddenly weakened, there is only one possibility: Heaven's sealing sun has arrived. Qin Yun and Heavenly Ghost Ancestor immediately walked out of the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda. The entire sky suddenly turned yellow, the myriad realms' divine sun has disappeared. Qin Yun hastily took out the Divine King Heavenly Seal. Through it, he cannot sense the existence of the myriad realms' divine Sunday. What should come has finally come. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor patted Qin Yun's shoulder and said, Palace King, don't worry, Heaven's sealing sun will only last for 10 days. If we join hands, who can do anything to us? Law Enforcer Realm's strength is definitely not weak. Maybe there are people who surpass Shen Tianjuan's cultivation. Qin Yun shook his head. We cannot lower our guard. After Heaven's sealing sun arrived, Qin Yun immediately took out the sound transmission divine pearl and contacted the people inside the Through Heaven Sword formation, telling them to prepare. Palace King, before Divine Judge invited me to Myriad Realms Divine Court to become some ghost god. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor said with smile. I have nothing to do now, so I decided to go and have a look. Alright. Qin Yun nodded and said. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor took out a teleportation pearl and said with smile. Then I will leave first. If Law Enforcer Realm comes, use this talisman to contact me. After Qin Yun took the talisman, Heavenly Ghost Ancestor also left for Divine Court Heavenly City. Qin Yun also took out a sound transmission divine pearl to contact Ming Yunyue, Heavenly Evil Battle Immortal and others, but he could not contact them. It means that Divine Moon and Divine Desolate have been cut off. Family Emperor, Flower Moon Marquis and others have run into trouble. Feng Yu sent a message to Qin Yun. Qin Yun immediately returned to Divine Moon Heavenly City. Feng Yu and Shueiyue are already inside Fragrant Charm Pavilion. What kind of trouble did they run into? Qin Yun already knew that Hong Mengshu went out with Flower Moon Marquis and said that she would return, but she has not returned yet. They have been ambushed and are now trapped in an empty city. They said that the people outside the city are very strong. We don't know the exact situation. Feng Yu took out a soul-chasing talisman and handed it over to Qin Yun. Family Emperor, I will go with you. No need. Qin Yun took the soul-chasing talisman, then took out a sound transmission divine pearl and sent a message to Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoshue, telling them to continue paying attention to Blood Moon and Dark Moon. Then he warned Inscription Gate to properly defend the Through Heaven Sword formation. Chapter 2566. After Qin Yun flew out of the Heavenly Sword formation, he contacted Nine-Yang Divine Palace and Imperial Heaven Pawnshop again and told them to be vigilant. Especially the Inscription Gate. Qin Yun repeatedly exhorted them to immediately release the energy of the Divine Universe Golden Stone when necessary to stabilize the Through Heaven Sword formation. Qin Yun asked Ming Yunyue to help him gather a large amount of Divine Universe Golden Stone so that he can maintain the Heavenly Sword formation during Heaven Sealing 10 days. Now that he can't sense Myriad Realms' Divine Sun, the Heavenly Sword formation's 100,000 Sword Mountains is mainly relying on the Divine Universe Golden Stone inside the Divine Rune Mountain. Xiao Yun, if there really is a traitor in Divine Moon Heaven City, then you are luring the tiger away from the mountain. Ling Yuner said somewhat anxiously. Don't worry, I have teleportation pearl, I can return very quickly. Qin Yun feels that even if there is a traitor in Divine Moon Heaven City, with Feng Yu and Shueiyue here, they can certainly fight against the other two kings. Xian Rujing, Yi Yaoshue, Luo Yaofeng and Bai Suxin are also not weak. Qin Yun also let Zi Qinqing, Shui Tianzi and the others stay in Divine Moon Heaven City to guide them in planting the unfettered divine grass. He owes Ming Yunyue a large amount of Divine Universe Golden Stone. Whether or not he can repay it all depends on the unfettered smoke. The usage of Divine Universe Golden Stone is getting bigger and bigger, especially when more and more people surpass Divine Heaven Monarch. The demand for Divine Universe Golden Stone will be even bigger. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor needs even higher quality Divine Universe Golden Stone to continue cultivating, otherwise not only will he not be able to maintain his cultivation, his divine power will also greatly decrease. Otherwise, Heavenly Ghost Ancestor would not have been forced to run away by heavenly sovereigns. Qin Yun is holding Flower Moon King and Hong Mengshu's soul-chasing talisman. They are both in the same direction, they should be together. Long time no see Mengshu, she should be living a good life in Divine Moon Clan. Hong Mengshu is Qin Yun's old friend, she often hung out with Xiao Yueme. Ever since Xiao Yueme accepted Divine Daughter's mission, she has been very busy. Her little sisters also miss her very much. After Qin Yun broke through to Dao God Realm, he can use Nether Sun Dao Idol's divine power and Space Heavenly Rune to release power that can allow him to break through space. This way, when he used the Void Traversing Step again, it would be even more convenient for him to travel through space. Although the consumption was as high as before, compared to before, At least he didn't have to rely on the little Queen Ant's spatial divine power pearl. Qin Yun used transcending void steps to travel through space. In less than half a day, he saw an empty ancient city in front of him. The buildings in this ancient city looked old, but they were not dilapidated. Some of the buildings were even taller. The 10 days of sealing the heavens had arrived, and the world was covered in a yellow hue. The ancient city seemed even older under the dusky yellow light, as if a sandstorm had just passed. This city was very big, and the buildings were ancient and rather simple. They were all made of square boulders, and the buildings did not have any shape. They were either rectangular or square. The overall layout was very neat. Looking at it from afar, it was very smooth and comfortable. There are no city walls or barriers. With the scale of this city, it can accommodate at least 20 to 30 million people. Qin Yun hovered high in the sky and looked at the 2 soul-chasing talismans in his hand. They were pointed at the city ahead. Xiao Yun, this city must have existed for a very long time. How can it appear here? Ling Yuner said. The formation of Divine Desolate is too short, there shouldn't be this kind of ancient city here. Qin Yun also feels that it is very strange because this city looks like it suddenly dropped down from the sky. It is completely out of tune with this land. Trap. This must be a trap. Ling Yuner immediately warned Qin Yun. No matter what, I must go in. Mengshu is inside. Qin Yun said. Not only Mengshu, Divine Moon Clan's Flower Moon Marquis and other women are also trapped inside. 10 days of sealing the heavens has arrived. Flower Moon Marquis and other women have been ambushed. Qin Yun had no choice but to leave the Through Heaven Sword formation to save them. Is this all a coincidence? From time to time, Qin Yun took out a sound transmission divine pearl and asked them to pay more attention to the situation. Qin Yun is very confident in his own strength after the battle in All Heaven's Emperor City, so he is not afraid of anyone. Even if Heavenly Ghost Ancestor is in peak condition, Qin Yun would not be afraid. After he became invisible, he immediately flew towards the mysterious ancient city. After entering the mysterious ancient city, Qin Yun became even more suspicious, because when he entered, he did not sense any barrier at all. Is there really no barrier? Qin Yun immediately turned around and flew out again. He very smoothly flew out. There really is no barrier. Since there is no barrier, why are Sister Mengshu and others trapped? Ling Yuner is somewhat doubtful. Xiao Yun, are there any powerful people nearby? With a thought, Qin Yun looked up into the sky and projected his heavenly eye avatar high into the sky. Very soon 2 transparent huge eyes appeared in the sky. They are Qin Yun's heavenly eye clone. Through the heavenly eye, he can see the entire city from the sky. Nothing inside the city can escape his heavenly eye. Nothing for now. Qin Yun flew close to the ground while holding the spirit-chasing talisman. He is not very far from Hong Mengshu and others. Xiao Yun, there must be something strange about this city. Ling Yuner is also very doubtful. Let's find Mengshu and others first. We will see them soon. Through the spirit-chasing talisman, Qin Yun can feel that they are nearby. Suddenly, the heavenly eye clone in the sky saw a few figures flying in the air, and they are heading towards Qin Yun. Someone is here. Qin Yun immediately stopped. He believes that those people are not coming for him because he is invisible. If it is not someone with strong mental power, they would not be able to sense him. After Qin Yun stopped, not long after, those people flew over him, and the direction they are heading towards is where Hong Mengshu and Flower Moon Duke are. What surprised Qin Yun is that those few people are actually women. They are wearing tight black clothes. It is possible to see their graceful bodies. Qin Yun immediately followed. Not long after, they stopped in front of a large square stone house. The leader of the black-clothed women shouted coldly, "Hua Yu, hurry up and come out." The main goal of the law enforcement world is the Through Heaven Sword formation. They can't even protect themselves, so they definitely won't come to save you. Qin Yun is secretly shocked. The ones who caused Hua Yu and the others to be trapped are actually these women in black. He is puzzled. Hua Yu and the others are in that large stone house. They can just attack directly, why do they have to shout outside and not attack? Give up. Even if I, Hua Yu, die, I will never betray the Divine Moon Clan. Hua Yu's voice came out. Her voice is very sweet, but now it is ice, cold and filled with anger. The woman in black sneered. The Divine Moon Clan is no longer the Divine Moon Clan of the past. Yu Shangyun betrayed the Divine Moon Clan and actually let a man become the Divine Moon Clan's emperor. When Qin Yun heard this, his heart trembled. The women of the Divine Moon Clan all know that Qin Yun is the clan emperor, but they did not reveal it to the outside world. The woman in black knows. It means that there is indeed a traitor in the Divine Moon Clan. The Divine Moon Clan originally belonged to Sister Shangyun. Whatever decision she makes is her business, and she will never betray the Divine Moon Clan. Hua Yu said, Our clan emperor is Qin Yun, we all approve of him. Do you know how deranged he is? Not long after he entered the Divine Moon Heaven City, he raped hundreds of women. Furthermore, he said that the Divine Moon Clan is his harem, and he will never allow the heavenly sovereigns to snatch the Divine Moon Clan. The woman in black laughed loudly and said, This is the clan emperor you all approve of? Shut up. Brother Yun is not that kind of person. Hong Mengshu shouted angrily, but her voice is somewhat weak, it sounds like she is injured. He is that kind of person. The Divine Moon Heaven City is inside the Heavenly Sword Formation, and the Heavenly Sword Formation is controlled by Qin Yun. The entire Divine Moon Clan is in his pocket. The woman in black sneered. Qin Yun is infuriated. He immediately rushed over and released supergravity, pressing down on the women in black. At this moment, he is shocked to discover that the souls of these women are all descendants of the Divine Sun and their bodies are 9 heaven divine bodies. 9 heaven divine bodies? Where did this come from? Could it be someone from the law enforcement world? You, who are you? A woman in black suddenly shouted. She can't see Qin Yun. The other women felt their bodies become incomparably heavy. Even though they have 9 heaven divine bodies, they are unable to move at this moment. I am the acting clan emperor of the Divine Moon Clan, Qin Yun. Qin Yun said in deep voice, I am here to save people. I just happened to hear someone slandering me. Qin Yun. The woman in black screamed in fright. What caused Qin Yun to be surprised is that they immediately abandoned their bodies, and their souls immediately rushed out from their heads. After Qin Yun saw this, he retracted the gravity and gathered them together. Then the spirit creation heavenly cauldron became bigger and immediately covered them, covering their fleeing souls. Want to run? No way. Qin Yun wants to figure out the background of these women. They actually know that he is the acting clan emperor of the Divine Moon Clan. Mengshu, it's me. Qin Yun stored away the spirit creation heavenly cauldron and walked towards the large house. Brother Yun, why are you here? You shouldn't have come. Hong Mengshu let out a long sigh. This is a trap. The carrier pigeon that returned to the Divine Moon Heaven City was not released by us. The letter asking for help was also not written by us. No matter what, I am here. Qin Yun said. Hurry up and come out, we will leave immediately. The stone house's door opened. After Qin Yun walked in, he smelled a very strong poisonous gas. It is a very strong poisonous fragrance. Was this poison released by the flower Moonduke, or was it already here? After Qin Yun entered, he did not see anyone. He stood in a large hall and looked around. I released it. Hua Yu's sweet voice came out and the door immediately closed. A petite woman with a pair of long ponytails suddenly walked out from a door. Her face is very pale, without a trace of blood. It is obvious that she is seriously injured. Chapter 2567. Hua Yu is wearing a light purple embroidered dress. She looks luxurious and elegant. As soon as she came out, all the poisonous fragrance in the hall entered her body. Then she took out a pill and handed it to Qin Yun. Flower Moon Marquis's appearance is not very beautiful. She has a small oval face and her eyes under her curved eyebrows are very clear and beautiful. Therefore, when Qin Yun saw her, he was first noticed by her eyes. That kind of feeling is like seeing two bright stars and the bright stars are like flowers suddenly blooming. Qin Yun believes that the reason why Flower Moon Marquis's appearance is not stunning is most likely because her strange and beautiful eyes have stolen the brilliance. Clan Emperor, this is an antidote pill. You just inhaled my poisonous fragrance. Hua Yu handed over the antidote pill and smiled lightly. I won't be poisoned, but Flower Moon Marquis's antidote pill must be very delicious. Qin Yun took the antidote pill and ate it. Just call me Hua Yu. Hua Yu chuckled, then caressed Hong Mengshu's pale cheeks and said, as expected of Clan Emperor, you made Mengshu recover a lot in an instant. Qin Yun said with frown, who injured Mengshu? Oh right, what about the other women? They are all injured. I wrapped them in flower buds and put them in storage space. Hua Yu said and released a very large flower bud that can wrap a person up. It was those women who injured us just now. They have already been captured by Clan Emperor. However, they seem to be descendants of Divine Sun. It is very difficult to completely exterminate them. Hua Yu kept the flower bud. Hong Mengshu said, Brother Yun, what is the situation outside? The heavens have been sealed for 10 days. Will the heavenly sovereigns attack the heavenly sword formation? Hua Yu is also very worried because Qin Yun ran out at this critical moment. It is very clear that he was deliberately lured out of the heavenly sword formation. Qin Yun patted her head and said with smile, Mengshu, the heavenly divine nation is finished. The heavenly sovereigns have been destroyed by me. They can't attack the heavenly sword formation. What? Hong Mengshu and Hua Yu are stunned. They can't believe this is true. Those damned women in black. They didn't tell us and even lied to us, saying that the sovereigns of all heavens would definitely attack the piercing heaven sword formation. Hong Mengshu groaned. She naturally believed Qin Yun. Hua Yu's expression was grave as she said, Clan leader, there is a traitor in our Divine Moon clan. Otherwise, those women wouldn't have known that you had become our acting clan empress. Then who do you think it is? Qin Yun's expression sank. Blood Moon and Dark Moon were the most suspicious. Hua Yu shook her head and said sadly, I really didn't expect that someone in the Divine Moon clan would betray us. For so many years we've been as close as sisters, going through thick and thin together, but there's still a traitor. She could not accept this fact, but she was very sure that there was a traitor in the Divine Moon clan. Qin Yun only suspected Blood Moon and Dark Moon. However, he did not have any evidence, so he could not mention this matter to Hua Yu. Flower Moon, why are you so sure that there is a traitor? Qin Yun asked. The few black-clothed women who were captured by the clan emperor just now, they know our whereabouts very well. They know the internal affairs of our Divine Moon clan like the back of their hands. They can even control our space carrier pigeons. Hua Yu bit her lips and said with a sad expression, If there is a traitor, then it is definitely a core member of the clan. If there is a traitor, then it is definitely a core member of the clan. A core member being a traitor was the most difficult thing for Hua Yu to accept, but this was the truth. Qin Yun previously thought that the traitor was working for the heavenly divine kingdom, but now it seemed that it was related to the law enforcement world. He recalled what Yu Tian had said before. Mu Yu was once a law enforcement great sovereign, so it was extremely possible that she had planted a traitor in the core of the Divine Moon clan. Let's go, we'll go back now. Qin Yun said, we have to discuss this matter with Shueyue and Fengyue. What about Dark Moon and Blood Moon? What have they been doing all this time? Hua Yu suddenly asked. They have been in seclusion all this time. I didn't even have the chance to see them. Qin Yun said, do you have something important to talk to them about? It's nothing important. They really know how to choose a time to go into seclusion. Hua Yu's eyes flickered as she snorted lightly. Hong Mengshu sighed and said, Brother Yun, it won't be that easy for us to leave this ancient city. Qin Yun was just about to ask about the ancient city when he said, What's wrong with this ancient city? I can go in and out as I please. This ancient city is very strange. After we entered, no matter what we did, we just couldn't fly out. Every street has no end. No matter where we go, we are all inside this city. Hua Yu gently shook her head and said, The buildings here are very sturdy and can't be broken at all. Bad. Qin Yun also understood why Hua Yu and the others were inside the big house, but no one could attack. Those women, can't they get out either? Qin Yun asked. Yes, they can't get out either. When they were outside the city, they released the spatial messenger pigeons to attract more of our clansmen. Hua Yu said, It seems that this city was not released by our enemies. Qin Yun took out the sound transmission divine pearl and realized that he could no longer send a message. Strangely, the heavenly eye he released could still overlook the entire ancient city. This ancient city had only appeared not long ago. It was so huge and it suddenly appeared. This made Qin Yun recall what Heaven Extermination had said. When the sky was sealed for 10 days, some things would suddenly unseal and appear. Let's go, follow me out. Qin Yun looked at Hong Mengshu and said, Mengshu, I'll let you rest first. He placed Hong Mengshu into the 9-sun divine spirit and let her rest inside. With Mo and Yang Yang taking care of her, she would quickly recover. When Hua Yu saw Qin Yun put Hong Mengshu into the storage space, she said in a low voice, Clan Emperor, can Mengshu hear us inside? If she can't hear, will she be very bored? No, it's very spacious inside. Qin Yun said with a smile. Then Clan Emperor, can you tell me who you suspect to be the traitor? Hua Yu said in a low voice. Qin Yun was startled. This Hua Yu Marquis was actually able to see through something. For her to become a Marquis, it was indeed not simple. He shook his head. Because he had not confirmed it yet, he could not speak carelessly to avoid causing a huge conflict. All right, I'll tell you who I suspect. I suspect that it's the Blood Moon and the Dark Moon. Do you suspect them as well? Hua Yu said again. Qin Yun is even more astonished. This Hua Yu seems to have the ability to read minds. Well, before there is conclusive evidence, I can't make wild guesses. Qin Yun sighed. The internal affairs of the Divine Moon clan made him feel extremely troubled. Hua Yu pushed open the door and said, Clan Emperor, I know that you are afraid of causing internal strife among us, so you are very cautious in this matter. It's good that you understand. Qin Yun nodded and followed her out. I promise you that I will never tell Shueiyue and Fengyue about this matter. After Hua Yu walked out, she said, Can you tell me what you discovered? Why do you suspect the Dark Moon and the Blood Moon? Qin Yun asked. He is truly curious as to why Hua Yu would have such suspicions. They shouldn't be in seclusion during this period of time. Because I understand them. I believe that the reason why they went into seclusion was to avoid meeting you. In addition, it was to avoid suspicion. Hua Yu said. She and Qin Yun had already walked out of the large house. She said, Sister Shang Yun actually made you the current emperor of the Li clan and even gave you her divine moon heavenly spirit. That is equivalent to making us, the 5 dukes, obey you and help you. And then? Qin Yun looked at the yellow sky. We, the 5 dukes, must see you. Instead, they have been hiding from you. There must be some secret behind this. Hua Yu said, Even Shueiyue has been helping you so enthusiastically during this period of time. Yet they are hiding from you. This is a problem. Qin Yun shook his head. There is no evidence at the moment. Maybe they are really cultivating in seclusion? Hua Yu snorted lightly. They can deceive Shueiyue and Fengyue, but they can't deceive me. When I return, I must personally keep an eye on them. Clan Emperor, tell me, why do you suspect them? You don't understand them, but you suspect that they are traitors. I must know why. Qin Yun pondered for a moment before telling Hua Yu about his meeting with the people from the 4 moon clans who had betrayed the Fire Moon divine race. Back then, it was this group of people who told Qin Yun. Furthermore, they did not have any evidence. What is the status of the Blood Moon and Dark Moon in the Divine Moon clan? How are our relationships? What's your relationship with Sister Shangyun? Qin Yun asked. After Hua Yu heard this, she also fell into silence. Qin Yun's question also interrupted her thoughts. Her beautiful eyes flashed with grief as she said, "They are like sisters to us. I can't believe they would do such a thing. You should know that we were almost caught and killed before." Her beautiful eyes also flickered with tears, and 2 drops of tears rolled down, because in her eyes, these 2 good sisters were as good as dead. Is the relationship really that good? Qin Yun sighed helplessly. Very good. They have saved the Divine Moon clan many times, and it can be said that they have gone through thick and thin with us. Sister Shangyun was in danger a few times, and they risked their lives to save her. Hua Yu was also crying. Don't cry first, maybe they have some difficulties? Qin Yun hurriedly comforted. Since I am now the clan emperor, I will definitely find out. Clan emperor, when we return, we will immediately capture them. Only then can we ask clearly and stop them from continuing to harm the Divine Moon clan. Hua Yu immediately wiped away her tears. Alright, after we return, we will find Feng Yu and Shueiyue. Let's go together. Qin Yun said. We can't find them. Feng Yu and Shueiyue are too emotional. They have an extremely good relationship with the Blood Moon and Dark Moon. Hua Yu shook her head. I will attack with you and capture them first, so as to prevent Feng Yu and Shueiyue from escaping. Hua Yu had to prioritize the overall situation, which was why she made such a decision. This caused Qin Yun to be somewhat surprised because Hua Yu did not seem to be a very decisive woman. But now, it seems that she is even more decisive than Shueiyue and Feng Yu. Chapter 2568. Although the ancient city was huge, it was not strange for it to move. What alarmed Qin Yun was that when the ancient city moved, there were no energy fluctuations. To be able to move such a huge ancient city would definitely require energy, and there would definitely be energy fluctuations. Even with Qin Yun's powerful perception, he was unable to sense any energy fluctuations. This made him very alarmed. Furthermore, he had been observing with his heaven eye for a long time, but hadn't seen anyone else. Clan Emperor, this ancient city is very strange. After we came in, we were trapped here. Even those women in black are unable to fly out or even contact the outside world. Hua Yu said. Qin Yun pointed to a direction and said, Let's go, we will leave from there. His heaven's eye clone was in the air, overlooking the ancient city they were in. They were on a street, and this street led directly out of the city. Qin Yun and Hua Yu flew close to the ground, maintaining a moderate speed. The speed at which the ancient city moved gradually increased, but within the ancient city, one could not feel anything. Through the heavenly eye avatar, Qin Yun saw that he and Hua Yu had already reached the edge of the ancient city. However, when Qin Yun looked ahead, it was still a long street, there was no end to it. Let's continue flying. Qin Yun flew in front and noticed him and Hua Yu through the heavenly eye avatar. Through the third eye, he saw that after he and Hua Yu walked to the edge of the ancient city, they suddenly appeared at the end of the street. After Qin Yun and Hua Yu reached the end of the street, they seemed to have entered a spatial door and arrived at the end of the street. If that was the case, then no matter how long they flew, they would always be running on this street. I see. Qin Yun had already figured out the general principle, but he was still somewhat puzzled because he could not sense any spatial fluctuations. Is there a spatial passageway connecting the two ends? But there are no spatial fluctuations. Hua Yu said. She had the same doubts before. Qin Yun said, It's the space causing mischief. The movement of the ancient city was also propelled by the power of space. It's just that this kind of spatial energy is very strange, we can't sense it. This is the power of the dark space. Dark space? Spatial Xian'ance? Could it be that this ancient city belongs to the space Xian'ant? Hua Yu said in shock. She had heard of the dark space before, but she didn't know much about it. It shouldn't be a spatial Xian'ant. I suspect that other than the space Xian'ants, living beings have appeared in the dark space. Qin Yun could only let the little queen ant come out. The appearance of the little ant queen made Hua Yu very curious. Her beautiful eyes widened as she looked at the little ant queen. Little queen ant, can you sense anything different here? I suspect that there is a power from dark space here. Qin Yun said. Little queen ant looked all around, then immediately hid under Qin Yun's collar and said with some fear, Big brother, I am scared. Don't be afraid, Big brother will protect you. Qin Yun is now sure that little ant queen is afraid of something. I don't know what it is, but they can use the power of dark space. I feel that they are here. The little queen ant said in a low voice. Big brother, you have to be careful. Don't worry. Qin Yun let little ant queen return and stay with Yang Yang and the others. Qin Yun originally wanted the little ant queen to send him out, but he was worried that something would happen to the little ant queen after entering the dark space, so he didn't let her. Family King, how do we get out of here then? Hua Yu is very anxious because she wants to quickly return and confirm whether Blood Moon and Dark Moon are traitors or not. Qin Yun looked at the sky and asked, Have you tried to fly into the sky? I tried, but I couldn't fly very high. Hua Yu sighed and said, This ancient city is very strange. Qin Yun took a deep breath. His eyes turned blue. He secretly activated his Imperial Heaven Divine Power. The aura on his body suddenly became extremely terrifying. Hua Yu, who is beside him, immediately retreated a few steps in fright. Her beautiful eyes are filled with fear. She only heard Qin Yun say that he killed heavenly sovereigns and heavenly divine nations, but she felt that it was not Qin Yun's own power. Because Qin Yun has many friends and he can also borrow the divine power of myriad realms divine Sunday. Now that she sensed Qin Yun's powerful aura, Hua Yu realized that she still underestimated the strength of this acting family king. Friend from the dark space, we only mistakenly entered this place. We have no ill intentions. As Qin Yun spoke, the sound wave carried a faint blue light and spread out in all directions. His voice reverberated throughout the ancient city. He suspected that the people of the ancient city are in another space, so he used his powerful Imperial Heaven Divine Power to release the sound wave, hoping that the people in the dark space could hear him. After Qin Yun finished speaking, Hua Yu also quietly listened, hoping to hear someone's reply. Not long after, they indeed heard a voice. We didn't mean to trap you. It's because we are all sealed, we can't completely control the ancient city. A voice suddenly came. Who sealed you? Qin Yun asked. Law enforcement realm. The voice replied. Someone from the law enforcement realm came in before, right? Those people seem to have been captured by you. Those black-clothed women are from the law enforcement realm. It is unknown where the voice came from, but it seems to be nearby. Qin Yun and Hua Yu immediately realized that there should be a lot of people in this city. However, those people are in another space. Why did the law enforcement realm seal you? Qin Yun asked again. Is it because of the heavenly rules Tao orthodoxy? When the heavenly rules Tao orthodoxy established all the rules, we still haven't appeared. And when we appeared, the law enforcement realm couldn't control us, so they added rules to the heavenly rules Tao orthodoxy to restrict us. When we violate the rules, immediately use the power of the heavenly rules Tao orthodoxy to seal us. The voice is filled with resentment. Qin Yun already knew that the heavenly rules Tao orthodoxy has a very formidable power. However, this mysterious heavenly rules Tao orthodoxy seems to be controlled by the law enforcement realm and used unscrupulously. Then why did this ancient city suddenly appear? Is it because of the heaven sealing? Qin Yun asked. The law enforcement realm used the heavenly rules Tao orthodoxy to commit crimes and sealed many thorns in their eyes. They are not proficient in the heaven sealing great forbidden technique, so it caused the seals of many heavenly rules Tao orthodoxy to loosen. The voice said, the formation that sealed our ancient city has loosened, but we still can't break the seal. It was just that the ancient city had broken the seal, but the mysterious race of the dark space was still sealed. In that case, the law enforcement realm made a big mistake this time. Won't this heaven sealing 10 days be very chaotic? Qin Yun is very worried. Don't worry. Those who were sealed by the law enforcers were not evil. To be honest, if we were evil people, you would have definitely been sent into the dark space by us. The voice said. That little queen ant just now, she knows how strong we are. Hua Yu asked, then what race are you? How come I've never heard of you? We're creatures of the dark space. The situation in the dark space is very complicated. The main thing is that the space Xian ants are the most, and we are a group evolved from the space Xian ants combining with other energies, and after millions of years we have formed a group. We're leaving the dark space. After that, he built this city and floated in the endless void of the universe. In the end, he was targeted by the law enforcers. The voice was very calm. They were having a friendly conversation with Qin Yun. Then can your race freely enter and exit the dark space? Asked Qin Yun. Of course not. We can only mobilize the power of the dark space. After we leave the dark space, we won't be able to go back. We are not space Xian ants. We do not have the ability to travel freely like space Xian ants. The voice sighed with some regret. After we evolved into humans, we were abandoned by the dark space. Qin Yun asked, how can I save you? After you come out, you can let us leave this city, right? As long as we can get out, we'll immediately stop the city and remove all the defenses. We'll send you out. The voice said. However, it's very difficult to save us. Previously, there was a guy called Heaven Extermination. He was very strong, but he couldn't save us. Is that so? Qin Yun said in surprise. Later, the Heaven Destroyer found a guy who claimed to be the heavenly axiom to talk to us. He said that he would definitely be able to save us, but he didn't succeed either. The voice said with contempt. The Heaven Destroyer even said that the heavenly axiom was his son. Heaven Extermination, his father, can't even save me, let alone his son. Qin Yun said, then I'll give it a try. I don't think I'm any worse than those two guys. Of course, he would never tell that person that he was Heaven Extermination's grandson. Otherwise, he would be despised. He also secretly despised Heaven Extermination and Heavenly Tao. They only knew how to brag. Later on, they failed and it became embarrassing. There's a monument in the city. That monument was originally a sacred object of our clan. Later on, it was used by the law enforcement realm to seal us. If you want to save us, you can only start from that monument, the voice said. Qin Yun saw that monument through his heavenly eye before. It is rather large, more than 10 meters tall, and is located in the middle of a small plaza. The area where the small plaza is located is surrounded by many large houses. It should be the core area of this clan. I'll go take a look. Qin Yun nodded at Hua Yu and flew over with her. Very quickly, Qin Yun and Hua Yu arrived under the monument. After Qin Yun saw the monument, he could not help but exclaim, "This monument is very strong. What exactly is inside?" He only sensed that there was something inside the monument after he got close. There is a space origin stone of the dark space inside the monument. The voice said, "That is also the most important thing of our clan. The people from the law enforcement realm have always wanted it, but they couldn't take it away." Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and observed the monument. Very quickly, he discovered a very familiar seal, Heavenly God Sealing Restriction. Chapter 2569. Qin Yun stared at the stone tablet. His heart is filled with doubt. After all, this heaven sealing restriction doesn't seem to be very difficult to break, but the heaven extermination and the heavenly Tao couldn't. Could it be that they deliberately didn't open it? Qin Yun thought of many things, but as he carefully looked at the stone tablet, he realized that it was not an ordinary heaven sealing restriction. He saw the runes of the heaven sealing restriction, but later on, he discovered that there were many dark runes that he couldn't see. The outermost seal of the heaven sealing restriction and the inner layer had a large number of invisible dark runes that formed a sealing formation. No wonder, it seems like this is not as simple as the heaven sealing restriction. Qin Yun quickly realized that this seal is not simple, so he didn't immediately take action to undo the heaven sealing restriction. He had to observe carefully before taking action. Otherwise, when he broke the formation and encountered other problems, it would be very troublesome. When breaking the seal, it wasn't that nothing would happen if he couldn't break it. Sometimes it would lead to very terrifying consequences, especially the space origin stone inside this stone tablet. Although Qin Yun doesn't know what the space origin stone is, it is definitely very important. Otherwise, it wouldn't have become the core of this ancient city. The reason why the law enforcement realm sealed this race should be because of the space origin stone inside this stone tablet. Maybe this is related to some kind of mechanism? Qin Yun has already opened his heavenly eye and looked further inside. Not long after, he discovered that there are several layers of formations under the heaven sealing restriction. Moreover, those formations are all formed by dark runes and can't be seen at all. Qin Yun can't see those dark runes, but he can roughly feel that they are filled with destructive power. If something goes wrong when breaking the seal, it is very likely that the stone tablet will explode. Friend, what will happen if this stone tablet is damaged? Qin Yun asked. If it is damaged, it will cause a spatial explosion. The space we are in will suddenly be torn apart and everything inside will be shattered along with the explosion. That person's voice came out and said, simply put, there is something in the storage technique. If the storage magic treasure inside the treasure explodes, those things will also be damaged. Qin Yun secretly cursed the law enforcement realm. They are actually so vicious to create this kind of seal on the stone tablet. This way, even the Heaven Destroyer and the Heavenly Tao would have to consider the consequences of breaking the formation. If anything went wrong, even they would be in trouble. In other words, this race would forever be sealed. Unless they compromised and were willing to be enslaved by the law enforcers, they could only stay in this state forever. The hardest part about breaking the formation was not being able to see those dark lines. If there were fewer dark lines, an inscription master with a strong perception could use their perception and experience to cause the inscription to fail. This way they could break the formation. However, there are many dark runes on this stone tablet and they are all flowing and changing Tao evolution runes. They can't be seen or sensed and they are densely packed together. There is no way to start. Moreover, if those dark marks were to be entangled with the Heavenly God Seal restriction, then once the Heavenly God Seal restriction was broken, the dark marks might be triggered and explode. Even the Heaven Destroyer and the Heavenly Tao didn't dare to make a move, so they had no choice but to leave awkwardly in the end. If you can't, then forget it. The voice said, friend, if you want to leave, there is a way. Wait until the heaven sealing 10 days is over, think of a way to borrow the power of the myriad realms' divine sun and break open the space of this city. Qin Yun can't wait for the heaven sealing 10 days to arrive. He must leave as soon as possible. Hua Yu is also very anxious, but she can't do anything. She can only watch quietly from the side. Qin Yun let Emo come out. He can't see the dark lines, but the cute little fairy Emo can see them clearly. Emo ate a lot of delicious food in the 9 Sun Divine Spirit and her ability has increased by quite a bit. And seeing through a large number of dark lines is not a problem for her. After she saw through the dark lines, she could immediately remember them and pass them to Qin Yun. Furthermore, she could make the dark lines lose their effectiveness or make the runes enter a state of numbness. Little Mo, can you break the seal formed by the dark lines on this stone tablet? Qin Yun asked. Mo looked and nodded. Yes, that's simple. Those runes are too old. They've been around for many years and aren't very strong. Hua Yu is very astonished. Qin Yun actually has so many little fairies. The one from before was transformed from a little ant queen, and now this one is a magical fairy, and it's also very cute. Qin Yun heaved a sigh of relief. He knew that Mo would be able to handle it. What made him puzzled was that the Heavenly Tao didn't have the ability to do so. The Heavenly Tao actually didn't have an ability like Mo. This Heavenly Tao was too weak. Mo's cute eyes shot out two rays of light that shone on the stone tablet. Big brother, wait patiently. This will take some time. Mo said. All right. Qin Yun saw that Mo is very confident and he is not worried anymore. Hua Yu watched from the side and she is very close to Mo. She is very fond of this kind of cute little fairy. Qin Yun asked Hua Yu to create a few large red flowers. They can be given to Mo and the others as houses. Mo is currently removing the runes. When she saw the beautiful flowers, she suddenly became very happy. Not long after, the stone tablet violently shook and the dust covering its surface was shaken off. The entire stone tablet became golden and dazzling. Qin Yun quickly stored Mo and the few large flowers into the 9-Sun Divine Spirit. He was worried that something unexpected would happen. Hua Yu also became vigilant. Not long after, the space in the streets and alleys suddenly fluctuated. Following that, many figures gradually appeared in the ancient city along with the fluctuating space. The race from the dark space has finally returned to the ancient city. Not far from Qin Yun, there is a bearded middle-aged man. He immediately walked towards Qin Yun with an excited expression. He held Qin Yun's hands and said, "Thank you for saving us, friend. How many years has it been? We've finally seen the light of day again." "You're welcome," Qin Yun said with a smile. "I am Qin Yun. How should I address you, big brother?" "And Wukong. I am the emperor of the foreign void race. I have already replaced my father as the emperor for a few years." And Wukong let out a long sigh. If my father could have held on for a few more years, he might have been able to see this day. At this time, many old men, as well as many strong-looking middle-aged men surrounded Qin Yun. They all knelt down and thanked Qin Yun for saving them. Actually, this was all Mo's effort, they should be thanking her. Qin Yun knows that Mo is afraid of strangers, so he did not let her come out. Being thanked by so many people, Qin Yun felt somewhat embarrassed and quickly let them stand up. "Old brethren, this is a sound transmission divine pearl refined by me. It can be used to communicate." Qin Yun handed over the sound transmission divine pearl to Wukong. After Wukong received it, he looked at it and said in amazement, "This, the spatial rune inside is a heavenly rune? Moreover, it is a very unique and powerful spatial rune. Brother Qin, is this your spatial rune?" "It is indeed created by me." "Old brethren, what do you think of this spatial rune?" Qin Yun said. "It is just that it is a bit imperfect. I will help you improve it in the future." After Wukong took the sound transmission divine pearl, he said somewhat embarrassedly, "Brother Qin, we have been sealed for so many years, it is already not easy for us to exist until now. I don't have anything to thank you with, I am truly sorry." "It doesn't matter. Since we are able to meet, it is fate. This is the great era of divine desolate. We very much welcome powerful races like you. You can make divine desolate even more colorful." Qin Yun patted Wukong's shoulder and said with smile, "Although we have been sealed, we can feel that an incomparably huge space is forming. It must be divine desolate." Brother Qin, if there is an opportunity in the future, we will certainly repay your kindness. And Wukong nodded his head and said. Qin Yun said, Brother N, the sound transmission god pearl I gave you can contact the nameless old man and the spatial god. After you contact them, they will immediately come over and help you quickly integrate into this world. Qin Yun said. Many thanks. And Wukong cupped his fists and thanked Qin Yun again. The alien race has just broken out of the seal. They are poor and have nothing to give to Qin Yun, so they feel very guilty in their hearts. Therefore, they will remember Qin Yun's kindness and wait for an opportunity to repay it in the future. Oh, that's right, we have an urgent matter to attend to. I hope old brother N can help us. Qin Yun said. Of course. And Wukong walked in front of the stone tablet and placed his hand on it. Very soon, the seal touched the stone tablet. Goodbye. Qin Yun pulled Hua Yu's hand, took out a teleportation pearl and immediately returned to the through heaven sword formation. After returning, Qin Yun took out a sound transmission divine pearl and contacted Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoshu. They have been keeping an eye on Dark Moon and Blood Moon. They are still in seclusion. Hua Yu, after we return, we must act in low profile. Qin Yun and Hua Yu have already arrived outside of Divine Moon Heavenly City. We must not let Feng Yue and Shui Yue know about this matter. We must secretly meet with Blood Moon and Dark Moon. Hua Yu deeply inhaled a mouthful of air and said with sigh, No matter what, I must uncover the traitor. On his way back, Qin Yun received a message from the Space God. He learned that Space God has arrived at Strange Space Ancient City and met with the alien race's emperor and Wukong. Since the alien race has been sealed by the law enforcers and they are a very peaceful race, Qin Yun hopes that they will stand on his side and fight against the law enforcers together. Qin Yun and Hua Yu returned to Divine Moon Heavenly City very quietly. No one noticed them. To be honest, I am very afraid of walking around Divine Moon Heavenly City. Some women are too bold and unrestrained, they don't even wear clothes. Qin Yun brought Hua Yu to Fragrant Sound Pavilion and felt as if they have arrived at a safe harbor. Is that so? Our clan emperor is actually so shy. That black-clothed woman slandered you, saying that you raped our woman, truly wrongly accusing our clan emperor to death. Hua Yu giggled. Clan Emperor, I am also a bold and unrestrained woman. Chapter 2570. Hua Yu's current state is not very good. Although her emotions have stabilized a lot, it is still not enough. With Hua Yu's current state, if they were to fight, Hua Yu might suffer a loss. I'll rest here. Hua Yu looked at the rooms and asked, Which one do I want to sleep in? Anywhere. Qin Yun said. Then I'll go sleep in Sister Shangyun's room. Hua Yu walked into Yu Shangyun's room. She also knows that she needs to rest and adjust her mentality so that she can face this matter in a good state. Hua Yu originally decided to look for Blood Moon and Dark Moon as soon as she returned, but in the end, her heart softened. Qin Yun secretly shook his head. It seems like Hua Yu truly has feelings for them. Otherwise, she wouldn't have chosen to rest now. Actually, Qin Yun is also testing Hua Yu. If Hua Yu is determined to confront Blood Moon and Dark Moon, it means that she has already made up her mind. She said that she wanted to rest because she wanted to take this opportunity to escape. To her, if she can escape for a moment, then it's a moment. If she can avoid facing those two sisters, then she won't. Xiao Yun, is it very difficult to deal with now? What do you plan to do? Ling Yun said. If I'm really sure that they are traitors, of course I'll capture them first. Qin Yun said. I can't let those two traitors do whatever they want in Divine Moon Heaven City. Qin Yun contacted Little Phoenix and asked her to call Bai Suxin to the Fragrant Charm Pavilion. Bai Suxin and Luo Yaofeng were already injured outside Heavenly Emperor City. Fortunately, Bai Suxin cultivated White Divine Sun and has an extremely strong recovery and healing ability. Not long after, the white-haired beauty from the white sun divine realm arrived at an elegant secret room in the fragrant charm pavilion. Bai Suxin simply tied up her smooth snow-white long hair and let it hang loosely in front of her chest. Her jade-like face is exquisite and beautiful. Under her curved white eyebrows, her soft and beautiful eyes are flowing with charm and gentleness. Big Brother Emperor, I can finally see a busy person like you, Bai Suxin said with a gentle smile. Little Queen Suxin, don't be so corny. Qin Yun walked over and hugged the white-haired beauty wearing a white dress. Little Yun, the 10 days seal the heavens has arrived. Will the bastards from the law enforcement world launch a large-scale attack on the Heavenly Sword formation? Bai Suxin was very worried because Qin Yun had already completely offended the law enforcement world. Rumor had it that Qin Yun was already a 10-star anti-heaven thief, and his reputation was in no way inferior to Heaven Destroyer. Now that the 10 days of sealing the heavens had arrived, no one in the divine wilderness could sense the myriad realms' divine Sunday. Even the heaven-piercing sword array's enchantment had weakened significantly. If the law enforcers wanted to attack the Heavenly Sword formation, it would definitely be very dangerous. Bai Suxin was not the only one who was worried. All the people in the Heavenly Sword formation were anxious. Nothing will happen. Qin Yun smiled faintly. He hugged Bai Suxin and kissed her. The two kissed for a while before separating. Bai Suxin leaned against Qin Yun's chest and said in a low voice, Xiao Yun, I'm really worried about you. Especially now, you can't sense the divine sun of the myriad realms. If the enemy is very strong and you need to borrow the power of the divine sun of the myriad realms, wouldn't that be? Bai Suxin came from the white sun divine world. Moreover, she has cultivated the white divine sun, so she is very clear about the importance of the myriad realms' divine sun to Qin Yun. That is why I need my little queen's help. Qin Yun gently caressed her face and said with smile, Little queen, are you willing to help me? Of course I am willing, whatever you want me to do, I am willing. Bai Suxin's beautiful eyes are filled with tender feelings, a touch of charming tenderness flashed through. Qin Yun pinched her face and said with smile, I want you to join hands with me and create a white divine sun. Ah? Then how do we create it? Bai Suxin is somewhat startled. Now? Qin Yun informed Bai Suxin about his meeting with Xieqiru. After Bai Suxin understood the gist of it, she also understood. She nodded and said, If the yang embryo is ready, then we just need to insert the yang seed. But we need Feiqing and Yanyan's help. I will immediately call them over. Qin Yun took out the sound transmission divine pearl and contacted Little Phoenix, telling her to immediately call Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian over. This requires Gemini Heavenly Rune. Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian have been staying in Guang Han Palace all along. When Qin Yun announced Li Clan's new emperor, he saw them but did not talk to them. He also heard that Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian's Gemini Heavenly Rune has made great progress. As for the specific situation, he is not too clear. They are both in Guang Han Palace, so they can arrive at Fragrant Cloud Pavilion very soon. Both mother and daughter are wearing bright red long skirt, they look like sisters. Greetings, Clan Emperor. Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian immediately greeted Qin Yun with respectful greeting. Their faces are filled with happy smile. Big sister Kong Yanyan, no need to be so polite. Qin Yun waved his hand with smile. Kong Feiqing is still as charming as before, this kind of mature charm is very different. Gong Fian's appearance is becoming more and more similar to her, it is just that she does not have that kind of mature charm, but she is still very gorgeous and moving. Suxin, you tell them how to operate, Qin Yun said, because this requires Bai Suxin to cooperate with Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian. Since Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian have Gemini Heavenly Rune, they are very busy inside Guang Han Palace. Their Gemini Heavenly Rune can duplicate things. Especially some very difficult runes, they can duplicate them with Gemini Heavenly Rune. This way, inscription masters can save a lot of time and energy. The other thing is to duplicate some soul bodies and the like. The only thing they don't dare to try is the inscription spirit. Now they want to duplicate Bai Suxin's white divine sun soul. Qin Yun thought that Bai Shenyang's sun seed would be enough, but now it seems like just sun seed is not enough. If it is just Bai Shenyang's sun seed, it will be dead. He also needs a strong enough sun spirit and sun soul to make Bai Shenyang grow up quickly. Otherwise, he will need time. Qin Yun doesn't want to wait that long. There is a sun spirit and sun soul inside my white divine sun, but it is still very young. However, I can duplicate it. Bai Suxin said to Qin Yun, Xiao Yun, you just wait on the side, we will quickly finish and hand it over to you. Qin Yun nodded. Bai Suxin immediately began. She released her white divine Sunday. Qin Yun discovered that Bai Suxin's white divine sun came out from a sacred tribulation gate. This small white divine sun is like a white light ball floating in front of Bai Suxin. It does not have any heat. This kind of multicolored light even brings along a very gentle breeze. It is very strange. Gong Fian and Kong Feiqing also immediately began duplicating. First, Kong Feiqing released her Gemini heavenly rune to interact with Bai Shenyang, and Kong Feiqing wrapped her Gemini heavenly rune inside a soul sealing pearl. Begin. Bai Suxin lightly yelled. Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian immediately began. Very soon, a white light dot appeared inside the soul sealing pearl. Young white divine sun's soul gradually appeared inside the pearl. Because it is duplicated, it has no consciousness. This allowed Qin Yun to easily control it. What caused Qin Yun to be amazed is that Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian very easily completed this task. They don't look tired at all. Just like this? Qin Yun said in amazement. Kong Feiqing said with smile. Xiao Yun, our Gemini heavenly rune is very awesome now, it has already become a Tao image. Brother Yun, I heard from Yaoxue that you always wanted to research our Gemini heavenly rune. Gong Fian said and then released an even more complex Gemini heavenly rune. If one looks carefully, they can see that this is her Tao image. Kong Feiqing also released her Gemini heavenly rune Tao image. Qin Yun took out the Gemini treasure mirror and said, Here, there are Gemini heavenly rune inside, but they are very old. Do you have any way to strengthen them? No problem. Kong Feiqing took Qin Yun's Gemini treasure mirror and gently caressed Qin Yun with her lily-white hands. Her charming expression has a trace of smiling expression. Qin Yun cursed this seductress in his heart. Bai Suxin took out the newly duplicated white divine sun soul, fused it with white divine sun's sun seed, and then handed it over to Qin Yun. Qin Yun inserted the white light ball into the sun embryo inside the 9 sun divine soul. Like this, white divine sun gradually took shape and became very small. Luckily, Qin Yun obtained many law enforcement realms' small divine suns and fed them to the small nether Sunday. After the small nether sun swallowed them, it is still full and has not been completely refined. It's finally done. Qin Yun created another divine Sunday. He is now one step closer to completing his 9 divine suns. He has heavenly poison divine sun, heavenly evil divine sun, and heavenly devil divine Sunday. If he can create a sun embryo, he will be able to create 3 rather dark and evil divine suns. Moreover, there is another restriction. There are still 2 pearls inside the 9 sun divine soul that he has not opened. Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian are currently helping Qin Yun transform Gemini treasure mirror into Gemini heavenly rune. Mysterious fusion heavenly rune has already been transformed. Qin Yun has not used it yet, but it will surely be very useful. After all, it is a very useful heavenly rune. Gemini heavenly rune is also the same. Qin Yun wants to use it to duplicate inscription spirit. He doesn't need Xiao Yueme now. He can duplicate inscription spirit himself. Of course, with Xiao Yueme here, it will be even easier. At the same time, it will draw down even stronger great tribulation. All right. Kong Feiqing handed over the Gemini treasure mirror to Qin Yun and said with charming smile, Xiao Yun, I am very happy to be able to help you. Big Sister Kong, you and Yin Yin's Gemini heavenly rune has helped me a lot over the years. I am truly grateful to you too. Qin Yun said with smile. No need to thank me. If it were not for you, us mother and daughter would not be able to live such good days. We should be the ones thanking you. Kong Feiqing said with smile. Qin Yun just created a small white divine sun. He wants to understand it as soon as possible. So Bai Suxin didn't disturb Qin Yun and left with Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian. Chapter 2571. Qin Yun's divine yang heavenly soil also has a few mysterious flowers. The seeds were obtained from the heavenly law inheritance bead. He has yet to fully understand what the seeds can grow. Because it was difficult to grow, he believed that the things planted from those seeds would definitely not be simple. Just as Qin Yun was fantasizing about the divine yang heavenly soil complementing white Shenyang's planting, the voice transmission god bead suddenly sent him an urgent message. It was from Shuiyu. Clan Emperor, the fellows from the law enforcement world are here. Shuiyu's voice was rather anxious. All right, I'll be right there. Qin Yun can only go out immediately. Shuiyu did not know that Qin Yun had returned, but she knew that Hong Mengshu had already been brought back. Therefore, she roughly guessed that Hua Yu and Qin Yun had quietly returned. After Qin Yun received Shuiyu's message, he immediately flew to the outermost sword peak of the heavenly sword formation. The 100,000 sword mountains were layered on top of each other, surrounding the 9 Yang Divine Palace and many other huge cities. At this moment, the Divine Inscription Mountain released a large amount of Divine Universe Goldstone's divine power to strengthen the heavenly sword formation. The Imperial Heaven Pawnshop floated not far from the 9 Yang Divine Palace. Although the Heavenly Universe Divine Sun was very small, it could still release a considerable amount of divine power. Qin Yun had previously instructed a few people in charge of the Imperial Heaven Pawnshop to cooperate with the Divine Inscription Mountain to strengthen the Heavenly Sword formation. At this moment, the people from the Law Enforcer world came. They cooperated very quickly and immediately strengthened the Heavenly Sword formation. It wouldn't be broken in a short period of time. No one knew if the Law Enforcers could break the heaven-reaching sword formation. Therefore, the people in the heavenly sword formation were all very worried. They all wanted to do their part, especially the leaders of the various powers. They all wanted to go out and fight. However, Qin Yun did not allow them to stay in the outer layer of the heavenly sword formation. Instead, he allowed them to get as close to the center of the Divine Inscription Mountain and the 9 Yang Divine Palace. If he really needed their help, he could let them release their divine power and infuse it into the Divine Inscription Mountain. It could then be transferred to the Heavenly Sword formation through the Divine Inscription Mountain. In this way, they could gather everyone's strength to maintain the operation of the Tongtian sword formation. Of course, this was also the last line of defense. Therefore, when the law enforcers attacked, only Qin Yun, Feng Yue, and Shui Yue appeared to deal with them. If Qin Yun was unable to deal with the people from the law enforcement realm, then no one in the heavenly sword formation would be able to defeat them. Therefore, they stayed near the Divine Inscription Mountain and channeled divine power into the heavenly sword formation. The Tongtian sword array could not only defend, but it could also attack. However, attacking required a lot of energy. Especially now that the Tongtian sword array was unable to absorb the energy of the myriad world's divine sun, Qin Yun didn't dare use it recklessly. All he could do was focus on defense. The law enforcers attacked with great force, and there were many of them. Tens of thousands of people from the law enforcement world came. The large number of people shocked Qin Yun and company. Furthermore, a portion of them were descendants of the divine sun, Could it be that the law enforcement world was established by the descendants of the Divine Sun? Qin Yun had long known that many powerful Divine Sons had a large number of descendants of the Divine Sun. However, after the descendants of the Divine Sun left the Divine Sun, their bodies could not hold on for long. They could only fly out with their souls. Therefore, the bodies of the 5 heavenly emperors could only be similar to the bodies of puppets, not their real bodies. Currently, the descendants of the Divine Sun were still greatly restricted. Their truly powerful bodies could not leave the Divine Sun. However, it was said that once the 9 Divine Sons of the myriad worlds were formed, the descendants of the Divine Sun here would most likely break through this limit. At that time, the descendants of the Divine Sun would be invincible. Qin Yun saw the 8th and 7th sect masters. They have new bodies and their appearances have not changed. Apart from these 2 sect masters, there are also several middle-aged men with similar status to them. They are all standing in the crowd, like stars surrounding the moon. With a glance, one can tell that they are all sect masters. In that case, there must be a lot of 6-star heavenly monarchs. The stronger the souls of the descendants of the Divine Sun, the stronger their bodies would be. These bastards are really annoying. When Qin Yun first learned of the existence of the descendants of the Divine Sun, he knew that this race with immortal souls was very terrifying, especially when they could obtain powerful bodies. Therefore, the myriad world's Divine Sun gave Qin Yun a very important mission. It was to find a way to completely exterminate the descendants of the Divine Sun, otherwise, the 9 Divine Sons of the myriad worlds would definitely be eaten by a large number of descendants of the Divine Sun. Qin Yun really wanted to ask Imperial Demon Yao how to raise a huge dark Kunpeng. If he had a dark Kunpeng, he could swallow this group of annoying descendants of the Divine Sun in one gulp and temporarily trap their souls. After the great battle in the All Heavens Emperor City, Yu Yaoyao left. Bai Suxin had previously told Qin Yun that Luo Yaofeng was pestering Yu Yaoyao in a bid to obtain some secrets from the mysterious woman. Qin Yun, you have become a 10-star anti-heaven thief. Don't think that this is glory. The 8th sect master sneered. This means that your good days are over. You are not in the ancient wasteland, and you are such a sinful rebel. Our law enforcement world will definitely focus on suppressing you. I'm sinful. Qin Yun sneered and said, the sinful ones are you, right? Law enforcers, in order to rob the outsiders of their space source stone, you altered the rules of the heavens, and abused your power for personal gain, sealing the outsiders for many years. Hearing about the alien race, the faces of the law enforcers changed. Obviously, they all knew about the alien race. Bullshit. It was the outsiders who violated the rules of the heavens. Their existence would have already destroyed the balance of space. We merely added rules to the heavenly rules and orthodoxy to restrict them. It was them who violated the heavenly rules and orthodoxy. A sect master angrily rebuked. This sect master seems to be a lot stronger than the 8th and 7th sect masters. Moreover, there is a cross on his clothes, indicating that he is the sect master of the 10th sect. The 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th sects of the law enforcers have all come together. They can be considered as the middle tier among the 18 sects of the law enforcers. There are no law enforcement great sovereigns and no sect master from the 10th sect or above. This means that they are only here to probe the power of the heavenly sword formation. Qin Yun, you have seen the outsiders? Heaven's sealing 10 days has arrived. It is very likely that their broken city will appear. Even at this time, you still have the mood to care about the outsiders. The 9th sect master said with sneer. The law enforcers don't know that the souls of those black-clothed women have been captured by Qin Yun. Those black-clothed women entered the so-called broken city and are still trapped inside. Qin Yun also realized that the strange space ancient city is very strong, otherwise it would not have been able to trap those black-clothed women. Not only did I go to the strange space ancient city, I also broke the seal on the steel. The outsiders are already free. Qin Yun laughed loudly. Just you wait, the outsiders will definitely come to take revenge on you. Ha ha. That is impossible. No one is able to undo our sealing technique. Even the so-called strongest heavenly venerable inscription is unable to break our seal. The ninth sect master laughed loudly and said, that heavenly venerable inscription is also a 10-star anti-heaven bandit, but he was recruited by us. Qin Yun, if you obediently obey us, you will be able to enjoy the same treatment as heavenly venerable inscription, the 10th sect master said. Wait until I get rid of you, then you can have this kind of sweet dream. Qin Yun said with sneer. Your law enforcement realm is not worthy to exist in the divine desolate great era. I will definitely eradicate you all. Idiot, do you really think our law enforcement realm is easy to bully? You only defeated an old law enforcement great sovereign. Do you think our law enforcers are so weak? The seventh sect master laughed loudly and said, wait until you know the true strength of our law enforcers. You'll be so scared that you'll wet your pants. The 10th sect master shouted. Qin Yun, hand over the souls of the heaven creation 5 emperors, then promise to submit to our law enforcement world, remove the heavenly sword formation and disband the 9 Yang divine palace. We will give you certain treatment. Otherwise, the law enforcement world will not let you off lightly. The souls of the 5 heavenly emperors are long gone. Qin Yun said in calm voice. I have already mastered the method to restrain the souls of you divine sun descendants. Don't think that you can always be reborn again and again. We said that we won't let you off lightly. We are not trying to scare you. When you said that you could end our immortal souls, you were definitely just trying to scare us. The 10th sect master thought nothing of it. He shook his head and said with a smile, Qin Yun, to be honest, I also want to experience soul flight. It's the feeling of my soul dispersing. But there's nothing we can do about it. Our souls are immortal and indestructible. Ha ha. The group of divine sun descendants in front of them all let out extremely proud laughter. Their undying souls were the reason why they were so proud. Currently, Qin Yun can only use the soul loss due to make the souls of the divine sun descendants lose all their consciousness and memories. But this can only erase their memories. It can't make their souls dissipate. Qin Yun secretly swore that no matter what, he will research a method to destroy the souls of the divine sun descendants and let them experience the feeling of their souls dissipating. Suddenly, a very strong spatial fluctuation arrived. Bastards of the law enforcement world, even if we can't kill you, we will still trap you for a lifetime. The voice belongs to An Wukong. Qin Yun originally thought that it was only An Wukong who brought people over. He didn't expect that it would be a huge, strange space ancient city that directly appeared in the sky and quickly pressed down on the law enforcement world's people. Seeing the appearance of the strange space ancient city, the law enforcement world's people couldn't laugh anymore. Especially the sect masters, they were very sure that Qin Yun would not be able to break the seal of the strange space ancient city. But now, the strange space ancient city appeared in front of them. Qin Yun really broke that kind of seal. This made those sect masters immediately raise Qin Yun's star rank to more than 10 stars anti-heaven thief in their hearts. Because the law enforcement world used the same sealing method to seal many of their so-called anti-heaven thieves. If those seals were touched by Qin Yun, they would all be unsealed. Chapter 2572. Qin Yun is still very worried about the foreign void race. After all, they have been sealed for many years. Moreover, they have been cut off from the rest of the world for so many years. They have been greatly affected in all aspects. It is already very good that they are still able to reproduce. If the foreign void race jumps out and confronts the law enforcers, they will be targeted by them. Of course, Qin Yun also knows that An Wukong is not a reckless person. Moreover, they should have enough understanding of the law enforcers. Now that they are fighting with the sect leaders of the law enforcers, they are also probing their strength. Brethren, don't pay attention to these guys. They came here to probe my great formation. Qin Yun sent sound transmission to An Wukong. Brother Qin, we also want to probe their strength. These sect leaders can be considered as the middle-level strength of the law enforcers. They are not the strongest. Don't worry about us. Besides, my people have been sealed for so many years, they have never come into contact with the law enforcers. Now that there is an opportunity, I want to let them know in advance. An Wukong replied through sound transmission Divine Pearl. When the strange space ancient city pressed down, it formed a very strong spatial domain that enveloped tens of thousands of law enforcers. Many law enforcers have only heard of the foreign void race, they have never come into contact with them. Now that they are enveloped in a spatial barrier, they immediately panicked and frantically attacked the transparent barrier. After their divine power came into contact with the barrier, it disappeared, as if it was transferred to a different space. Clan Emperor, what's going on with the foreign void race? They are very powerful. Their barrier cannot be hit by divine power. Instead, they cleverly divert the divine power attacking the barrier. This way, the barrier won't be damaged by attacks and won't suffer any loss. Shui Yu repeatedly exclaimed in admiration. Fortunately, Clan Emperor knows the foreign void race. If they became our enemy, it would be very difficult to deal with them. Feng Yu also exclaimed in admiration. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and looked at the tens of thousands of law enforcers enveloped by the barrier. Through the heavenly eye, he can see even more. The strange space ancient city of the foreign void race is not simple. Although the ancient city looks very old, the great formation inside is still very vigorous. When the huge ancient city fell, the base of the ancient city released a very strange spatial fluctuation. It quickly formed a barrier and covered the people from the law enforcement realm below. Qin Yun didn't know how many people the alien void race had. He and Hua Yu had left in a hurry. He only knew that the spatial source stone at the core of the alien void race was very powerful. The strange space ancient city was so huge, yet it was still able to travel such a long distance through space even during the 10 days of sealing the sky. The spatial origin stone must have played a role. Qin Yun now had a preliminary understanding of the power of the spatial source stone. This was also the reason why the alien race was targeted by the law enforcement world. Law enforcers are a bunch of bandits. The space origin stones of the foreign void race must have come from the dark space. The dark space was an area that the law enforcers couldn't touch. They knew that the spatial source stone was in the hands of the alien race, so they wanted to steal it. The spatial source stone was brought out by the alien void race from the dark space. Qin Yun envied them for having such a miraculous treasure. He planned to find a chance to ask An Wukong if he could let the little queen ant enter the dark space and find a space source stone. The law enforcers originally wanted to test the heavenly sword formation. If the heavenly sword formation was weak, they would be able to break it. As long as they could break the heavenly sword formation, they would immediately retreat. As for fighting with Qin Yun, they would leave it to other stronger people. It didn't matter if they couldn't break the heavenly sword formation. At most, they would retreat and go back to explain the situation. What they didn't expect was that the alien void race would suddenly attack. Qin Yun told the law enforcers that he had already unsealed the alien void race. However, they didn't believe Qin Yun and even laughed at him for bragging. Now they believed him, they all crazily cursed Qin Yun in their hearts. The alien void race was very difficult to suppress in the past. These few sect masters all took office later. Their understanding of the alien void race was also from the previous sect masters. They only knew that in order to seal the alien void race, the law enforcers sent out a lot of experts and spent a lot of resources. They even invited the power of the heavenly law orthodoxy to finally seal the alien void race. Sealing the alien void race had greatly damaged the law enforcers' strength. The current law enforcers were not as strong as they used to be. This was also caused by the appearance of Divine Wilderness. The mysterious area in the center of Divine Wilderness was completely out of the law enforcers' control. In order to explore that area, the law enforcers lost many powerful 6- and 7-star heavenly monarchs. One should know that many 6-star heavenly monarchs were killed by Qin Yun, but their souls would eventually return to the law enforcers. However, when they went to investigate the central region of the Divine Wasteland, those souls did not return. There was no news at all. Qin Yun originally thought that he would have to personally go out and fight. Now that the alien void race had arrived, they completely suppressed the law enforcers. The law enforcers were trapped in the spatial barrier. They were like headless flies, crazily attacking the barrier. They had never experienced the feeling of being trapped, but sealing others was something they often did. Law enforcers, you have sealed us for so many years. Now it's our turn to seal you. Ha ha! And Wukong laughed loudly. A white spatial whirlpool suddenly appeared at the bottom of the floating alien void ancient city. The spatial whirlpool slowly rotated and produced an extremely strong suction force. More than half of the law enforcers were sucked into the white whirlpool. The sect leaders and the powerful heavenly monarchs immediately abandoned their bodies. After their souls flew out of their bodies, they rushed towards the spatial barrier and rushed towards Qin Yun's group. They are coming, what do they want? Feng Yu suddenly shouted. After all, those are the souls of Divine Sun's descendants. These souls can easily pass through many kinds of barriers. They want to try and see whether or not they can enter the Heavenly Sword formation. Qin Yun immediately released his formidable mental power. He is preparing to release a storm of mental power to repel those souls. However, as soon as those souls touched the spatial barrier of the alien void race, they suddenly disappeared. They were all teleported away. So awesome! Qin Yun said in pleasant surprise. The alien void race's spatial barrier can teleport a lot of energy to other places. Souls, which have no physical body, can naturally be teleported away. Brother Qin, we will guard your heavenly sword formation for 10 days. And Wukong understood Qin Yun's situation from the space god and the nameless old man. That is why he immediately rushed over. Originally, he wanted to help Qin Yun protect the heavenly sword formation. He did not expect that he would meet the law enforcers. Many thanks, brother, and Qin Yun immediately expressed his gratitude. No need to be so polite. We should be the ones thanking you. If not for you, our alien void race would have missed the great era of the divine desolate. And Wukong is very happy. His straightforward voice came from the sky. Tens of thousands of law enforcers suddenly disappeared. No one knows where they went. Feng Yu, Shueiyue, you two return to Mystic Moon Heaven City first. I will be back soon. Qin Yun immediately flew towards the alien void ancient city. Feng Yu and Shueiyue are also very happy because this powerful alien void race has a very good relationship with Qin Yun. Just now, they killed tens of thousands of law enforcers in a few moves. They all returned to Mystic Moon Heaven City. While flying in the sky, Qin Yun saw that they were talking and laughing. He sighed in his heart. If the Dark Moon and Blood Moon were really traitors, they would definitely be very sad. Hua Yu has not rested yet. Qin Yun also took this opportunity to go to the alien void ancient city. He wants to learn from the alien void race and master more advanced spatial techniques and formations. Just now, the barrier released by the alien void ancient city was very powerful. It could prevent the souls of Divine Sun's descendants from passing through. And Wukong sensed that Qin Yun is flying over. He immediately contacted Qin Yun and told him to relax. Then, he teleported Qin Yun to a villa in the middle of the alien void ancient city. Brother Qin, our place is a bit shabby. Please don't mind. And Wukong welcomed Qin Yun with a smile and brought a few old men over. After 10 days, My 9 Yang Divine Palace will help you build this city, Qin Yun said with a smile. And Wukong invited Qin Yun into the inner hall of a big house. A few very high-status elders of the alien void race were also there. They were chatting with Qin Yun. Brother, and Divine Desolate has been formed for many years. However, it is still in its initial stage. There will be many disputes. Currently, the Divine Court of Myriad Realms is maintaining order. I hope you can communicate and cooperate with them, Qin Yun said. Of course. We have talked with the space god. In the future, we will help build more teleportation formations to facilitate the communication between the various races of Divine Desolate. Moreover, we will explore some uninhabited areas of Divine Desolate. We will open up areas with abundant resources and build more teleportation formations. Yes, increase the supply of resources. And Wukong nodded. The alien void race has been drifting in the universe for many years. They have also been sealed for many years. Now they want to settle down. They feel that Divine Desolate is a good place for them. Therefore, they have unanimously agreed to stay. They are determined to protect Divine Desolate, because this will be their new home. In the future, they will live and multiply on this land and strengthen the alien void race. The law enforcers will definitely come back. But Shao Qin, you don't need to worry. We already know that the law enforcers are not as strong as they used to be. Another bearded old man said with smile. Back then, the law enforcers sent 18 sects to besiege us. Their sect masters were killed by us several times. Even their bodies were completely consumed. But in the end, they still failed to capture us. The few old men present have proud expression on their faces. Back then, they were all in their prime and participated in the fight against the law enforcers. Qin Yun is secretly apprehensive. These alien void race are actually so tough. Even when 18 sects besieged them, they still failed to capture them. Aren't the 18 sects the strongest power in the law enforcers? What about those law enforcement great venerables? How many of them are there? How strong are they? Chapter 2573. The elders of the alien void race were quite proud when they talked about the past, but when they thought of the powerful law enforcement great venerables, they suddenly became cautious. Especially in Wukong, as the leader of the alien void race, he must be vigilant at all times. He said in a deep voice, Elders, the law enforcement world has weakened a lot, but we have been suppressed by the seal all these years and haven't improved much. The law enforcement world has been improving for many years. The reason why they have declined is because they went to explore the central area of Divine Desolate and suffered heavy losses. That's right, as long as there are still law enforcement great venerables, we can't underestimate the law enforcement world. An elder nodded. The 11th to 18th of the law enforcement world's 18 sects are very strong. I suspect that their current sect leader is as strong as law enforcement great venerables, or even law enforcement great venerables. Another elder said. The difference between the 11th and 10th sect is only one number. Their strength should not be that different, right? Qin Yun didn't know much about the law enforcement world. He only knew that there were 18 sects and some respected and mysterious law enforcement great venerables. The law enforcement great venerables were not only strong, but also had a very high status. Even during the heaven-sealing 10 suns, no law enforcement great venerables came to attack the Heavenly Sword formation. Qin Yun was already a 10-star anti-heaven thief, and the heaven-sealing 10 suns was a good opportunity to attack the Heavenly Sword formation. However, none of the law enforcement monarchs had come in person, which meant that none of them were willing to put down their pride and fight. If they were defeated, even if they didn't die, they would lose face. They were not confident enough and were afraid that they would lose their reputation when they attacked the Heavenly Sword formation. Brother Qin, as far as I know, there are other people sealed in the law enforcement world. When we find those sealed places in the future, I hope that Brother Qin can lend us a hand. An Wukong said. As long as they are not evil people, I will definitely help. Qin Yun also agreed. After all, everyone had to fight against the law enforcement world. Seeing that Qin Yun agreed, An Wukong also thanked Qin Yun in advance. Brother-in, does your spatial source stone come from the dark space? Qin Yun asked. That's right. Our ancestors were born from the spatial source stone. An Wukong nodded and said, in the dark space, the spatial source stone is also very rare. As long as there is a spatial source stone, it can give birth to living creatures. Those spatial Xian ants were also born from the spatial origin stone? Qin Yun asked. The dark space was a very mysterious place. The creatures inside were innately familiar with controlling the spatial laws. That's right. The spatial profound ants will use the spatial source stones as their nest. The few spatial source stones are all occupied by the spatial profound ants. An Wukong said, as for us, the alien void race, we were born under very coincidental circumstances. We were born from the Spacian ant. He fused with living creatures and evolved into a human. Qin Yun had originally planned to let the little ant queen enter the dark space to search for spatial origin stones, but after knowing that spatial origin stones were very rare, he gave up on this idea. 10 days of sealing the heavens, we will stay here. These 10 days are also very important to the law enforcers. They want to use these 10 days to plunder in the divine wasteland or reinforce and seal other so-called anti-heaven rebels. An Wukong said, I don't know if they will mobilize the majority of their people here. If they concentrate on attacking the Heavenly Sword formation, the pressure here will be very great. Qin Yun previously contacted Heavenly Ghost Ancestor. Heavenly Ghost Ancestor is now in the Heavenly City of the Divine Court. There is a teleportation formation that can directly connect to the Heavenly Sword formation. If there is a need, Heavenly Ghost Ancestor will also help. Today, Heavenly Ghost Ancestor has recovered a lot. His cultivation has surpassed Divine Heaven Monarch. That kind of divine power is very terrifying. If they start a war with the law enforcers, Heavenly Ghost Ancestor will definitely rush over to try his hand. Brother Qin, have you ever tried to enter the central region of the Divine Wasteland? An Wukong suddenly asked. Qin Yun has often heard people mentioning the central region of the Divine Wasteland. No. Qin Yun shook his head and said, I only know that it is very dangerous and there is a natural barrier isolating it. According to the spatial wave we released, there is a large area in the center of the Divine Wasteland that cannot be detected. An Wukong said, Divine Wasteland is so vast, what exactly is in the center? Moreover, it occupies a large area. How big is it? Qin Yun saw the dense fog in the center of the Imperial Heaven Pawnshop's teleportation map. It is an area that cannot be teleported to. It occupies at least 30% of the Divine Wasteland and it is still expanding. Of course, even if the center occupies a large area, we can't feel it from the outside because the area outside is already very vast. An Wukong said. When mentioning the central region of the Divine Wasteland, the elders of the foreign void race became very curious. An old man said, the law enforcers lost a lot of experts when they went to explore the central region. Their souls didn't even return, so I don't know what happened. There must be even more powerful beings in the central region. The long-bearded elder looked at Qin Yun and said, Little Qin, you have the godly monarch heavenly seal. Logically speaking, you should be able to communicate with the Myriad Realms Divine Sunday. Why don't you ask Myriad Realms Divine Sun what is in the central region? An Wukong nodded and said, After the heavenly seal is over, we will go ask Myriad Realms Divine Sunday. Qin Yun shook his head and said, Although I can borrow the divine power of the Myriad Realms Divine Sun, I can't communicate with it. The Divine Judge can communicate with the Myriad Realms Divine Sun, but he can't get anything out of me. Qin Yun asked the divine judge before, but he only said that the myriad realms' divine son said that the region is very dangerous and the divine court should not send anyone there. There are too many things in this world that we don't understand. We don't know who created the heavenly law Tao orthodoxy or if it was formed naturally. But this heavenly law Tao orthodoxy is very old. It is not suitable for the new era and is controlled by evil people. An Wukong sighed and said. Soon after, Qin Yun and An Wukong talked about the magic mirror. Back in the Immortal Desolate, Qin Yun built the magic mirror formation base and made it a very convenient tool for communication. The idea of the magic mirror came from a small planet called Earth when Qin Yun was traveling around the various worlds. But in that world, communication could not be done through space. That world was a small planet, so it was very convenient for them to use that method. But Divine Wasteland is very big and the environment is very complicated, so they could only use space to communicate. Although Qin Yun created his own space heavenly rune, he doesn't have a powerful space origin. The space origin stone of the foreign void race has almost unlimited space divine power. Moreover, it is very powerful. After hearing Qin Yun talk about the magic mirror, An Wukong and the other elders became very interested. The alien void race had just been released from their seal, and they were completely destitute. If they could build such a magic mirror formation, they would definitely be able to benefit greatly from it. It would allow their race to develop rapidly. Qin Yun has always wanted to build a magic mirror spatial net in Divine Wasteland, but he is powerless to do so. This is a very good idea. I think our race can do it, but it will take some time. And Wukong suddenly felt a sudden impulse, and wanted to take action immediately. The elders must be itching to make a move. If they succeed, the alien space race will definitely become a very famous race in the All Heavens Divine Wilderness, and they will flourish for a long time. I have done it before, it is not too difficult. Of course, the main reason is that the space I was in is very small, so I can do it. Divine Wasteland is too big and the space here is very firm. I can't build such a big spatial net. Qin Yun spread out his hands and said with smile, Brother Qin, if we succeed, we will definitely share a part of the profits with you. We will definitely share a portion of the profits with you. This is the idea that you provided us with. You deserve it. An Wukong laughed. No need, just give me some convenience when the time comes. Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. Give it all. An Wukong is also very straightforward. I still have some matters to take care of, we will discuss this matter in detail when we have time. Qin Yun thinks that he can send Wu Shaoding. Wu Shaoding was Devil Mirror Immortal Emperor. He is also Qin Yun's disciple. Wu Shaoding was originally in 9 Nether Realms Nether Sect. Because he saw that Qin Yun is doing very well, he came to Nine Yang Divine Palace and now, he is also in Divine Rune Divine Mountain. After Qin Yun left Strange Space Ancient City, he took out a sound transmission Divine Pearl and checked. Hua Yu did not contact him. Hua Yu also has a sound transmission Divine Pearl. Qin Yun told her to immediately contact him after resting and go find Blood Moon and Dark Moon with him. Is she not ready yet? When Qin Yun thought of the matter of the traitor, he felt extremely conflicted in his heart. Because once this matter is exposed, it will be very troublesome to deal with. Qin Yun returned to Fragrant Charm Pavilion and saw Hua Yu sitting in the hall. She is holding the sound transmission Divine Pearl in her hand and is currently hesitating. Clan Emperor, those people from the law enforcement realm will come again. You must rest well during this period of time. Hua Yu said. Have you considered that matter? Qin Yun asked. Because Hua Yu said that she would immediately meet Blood Moon and Dark Moon after returning. We will talk about it after 10 days of heaven sealing. Hua Yu let out a long sigh. During this period of time, you must focus on stabilizing the heavenly sword formation. I don't want you to have too many worries. Alright. We just need to keep an eye on them for the next 10 days. Qin Yun patted Hua Yu's shoulder and comforted her. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Hua Yu slightly nodded and then walked out of Fragrant Charm Pavilion. She said that she wanted to find Feng Yu and Shui Yu to chat. Qin Yun finally has some free time. He immediately entered the secret room and took out the Soul Creation Heavenly Cauldron. Inside his Soul Creation Heavenly Cauldron, there are several souls that have lost their memories, as well as the souls of those black-clothed women. The souls of those black-clothed women are all descendants of Divine Sunday. They had previously besieged Hua Yu and the others, and their strength is not weak. Qin Yun wants to give it a try and see if he can get some information from them. He wants to see if he can figure out what the traitor's goal is. Chapter 2574. Qin Yun looked at the Soul Creation Heavenly Cauldron and the small bottle in his hand. The small bottle contained the Soul Lost Dew. There was still some Soul Lost Dew left, but not much. It could only make 23 souls lose their souls. As for Qin Yun, he was still unable to find the dermic formulation to replicate the Soul Lost Amulet. Maybe I can try using Gemini Heavenly Rune. Qin Yun's Nether Sun replication ability cannot replicate the few special medicinal divine power inside Soul Lost Dew. The Gemini Heavenly Rune inside his Gemini Treasure Mirror has already undergone great evolution. This is all thanks to Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian's help. He took out 2 small plates and dripped a drop of Soul Lost Dew on one of them. Then, he used the Gemini Treasure Mirror to shine the drop of Soul Lost Dew on the small plate. Big Sister Kong said that Gemini Heavenly Rune's ability is very strong. It can even duplicate a certain kind of energy. Qin Yun used the Gemini Treasure Mirror to illuminate the area. The Gemini Treasure Mirror's light rays condensed on the Soul Lost Dew. Qin Yun continued to pour in divine power. Moreover, it is extremely strong Imperial Heaven divine power. However, after a long time, there was no progress. No! Qin Yun frowned. What's wrong? His Nether Sun had the duplication ability, and the Gemini Treasure Mirror's duplication ability was even more terrifying. The Gemini Treasure Mirror could record ordinary heavenly runes. Combine the two. Ling Yuner said. Xiao Yun, release Nether Sun's divine power replication and pour it into the Gemini Treasure Mirror. Then, through the mysterious fusion Heavenly Rune, let it fuse with the Gemini Heavenly Rune. Qin Yun nodded and said, I will give it a try. He immediately tried it according to Ling Yun-er's words. Very soon, the Gemini Gem Mirror absorbed Nether Sun's duplication ability and fused with the Gemini Heavenly Rune. Then it released light beams through the mirror and focused on the Soul Lost Nectar. After a while, Qin Yun sensed some movement from the Gemini Treasure Mirror. A weak cyclone is condensing on the mirror's surface. Has it been extracted successfully? Qin Yun rejoiced. He quickly pointed the Gemini Treasure Mirror at the other empty saucer. He discovered that he still needed to pour in a lot of divine power. The consumption was enormous, and he didn't know if he could succeed in the end. Because of his previous attempts, Qin Yun had expended a great deal of his divine power. He was a little worried that he would fail because he did not have enough divine power. Oh right, there's also White Divine Sun. Qin Yun immediately looked at a pearl inside the 9 Sun Divine Spirit. There is a little White Divine Sun inside. This small White Divine Sun was created by Qin Yun and by Suxin. It is very small and it is currently devouring the law enforcement realm's small divine suns. Although Xiao Bai's divine sun is very small, the divine power it releases has a very strong regenerative ability. Qin Yun has already extracted the basic elements required for the Soul Lost Dew. What he needs to do next is to release formidable divine power and cooperate with Gemini Heavenly Rune to quickly regenerate those basic elements. The Gemini Heavenly Rune only provided the possibility of duplication, but if the thing being duplicated was very strong, it would consume a lot of energy. This was also the law of energy balance in this world. Qin Yun promptly absorbed Little White's regenerative power and guided it into the Gemini treasure mirror, allowing the mysterious fusion heavenly rune inside to fuse the regenerative power into the Gemini heavenly rune. As such, Qin Yun's expenditure was greatly reduced. Even with the divine power of Little White's divine sun, Qin Yun still spent nearly 2 hours to produce a drop of soulless dew. I don't know if it will be useful or not. Qin Yun just happened to have the soul of a divine sun descendant, so he can give it a try. Qin Yun released his mental power and began talking with the souls inside the spirit creation heavenly cauldron. You were sent by the law enforcement realm, right? Qin Yun asked. The 4 black-clothed women's souls he captured earlier all have 9 heavens divine body. Their 9 heavens divine body is somewhat different from Zhu Great Emperor's group, so he can confirm that they are not from Zhu Great Emperor's side. Qin Yun, don't think you can get anything out of us. Our souls are immortal and indestructible. So long as we have enough time, we will be able to rush out of your spirit creation heavenly cauldron. A woman's voice arrived. There are several storage spaces inside the spirit creation heavenly cauldron. The souls of heavenly sovereigns and Zhu Great Emperor's group are all stored in the second storage space. Zhu Great Emperor's group also thought so before. Then take a guess, how are they now? Qin Yun said with smile. They are just trapped, their souls are immortal and indestructible, they will come out sooner or later. The black-clothed woman's soul is still very confident. Qin Yun controlled the space inside the spirit creation heavenly cauldron and let a soulless soul float out. This soul is the soul of one of the heaven creation 5 emperors. That's right, their souls are immortal and indestructible, but they don't have consciousness and memories. Even if their souls have bodies, they are just idiot. This is no different from a dead person. Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. Take a guess. Whose soul does it belong to? Qin Yun. You. What kind of evil art did you use? That woman's voice is filled with fear. Those black-clothed women's souls are currently shivering. How could they not recognize that it is the soul of a divine sun descendant? But now that soul has no consciousness at all. It can be said that it is a living dead soul. Evil art? How could I know any evil art? It would be great if I could master evil art. That way, I would be able to quickly exterminate you group of divine sun descendants. Qin Yun released a 6-star Heavenly Lord Divine Sun Descendant soul from the Spirit Creation Heavenly Cauldron's 3rd space. Then he injected the drop of soul lost dew into the Spirit Creation Heavenly Cauldron and controlled it to fall into the soul. The soul only trembled violently for a moment before calming down and completely losing its memories. Did you see that? Qin Yun chuckled and said. The soul that was hit by the soul lost dew is a 6-star Heavenly Lord that Qin Yun caught earlier. He demonstrated on the spot how to strip the soul's memories. On one hand, he can test the soul lost dew he copied, and on the other hand, he can scare these black-clothed women's souls. You. What did you do? The woman in the lead was terrified. This is not evil art. It is just a medicinal liquid that I made. It can strip your soul's memories. Qin Yun said. This kind of medicinal liquid is a bit difficult to make. I need about 2 hours to make 1 drop. 1 drop every 2 hours. In the eyes of the souls of the black-robed women, this was a lot. They were very stubborn before. They believed that their souls are undying and indestructible. As long as they have enough time, they can wear out the spirit creation heavenly cauldron and fly out. But now they know that Qin Yun has a medicinal liquid that can erase their memories and consciousness. They are scared to death. They have never felt the fear of death before, and now they finally know what kind of feeling it is. Those souls without memories are very powerful. They are very useful to me. I can use them to make puppet souls, or use them as the foundation for martial spirit and inscription spirit, or use them to nurture the soul. Qin Yun said with a sinister smile. If you don't cooperate with me, I can only erase your soul's consciousness and memories and then refine them into tool spirits or other messy souls. If you don't cooperate with me, then I can only erase the consciousness and memories of your souls, and then refine them into artifact souls or other messy souls. Qin Yun was a soul refiner, so these blank souls were of great use to him. Qin Yun is a soul refiner, so these blank souls are very useful to him. If it is a very weak soul, Qin Yun can use soul refining art and spirit creation heavenly cauldron to extract their memories. If it was a very weak soul, Qin Yun could use the soul refining art in conjunction with the soul creation heavenly cauldron to extract memories. However, these souls were too strong, and they were all descendants of the divine Sun God. It was not easy for him to control them, and he was afraid that they would escape. Who gave you the information? You should know what I want to ask. Qin Yun said, There is a traitor in Divine Moon Heaven City. I want to find out who the traitor is. We don't know who provided the information. We went to intercept Hua Yu and the others, and we found out that you became the Divine Moon Clan's acting clan emperor. This was all told to us by our sect master. The woman replied, You're from the law enforcement circle, right? Who is your sect master? Qin Yun asked calmly. It's a law enforcement grand monarch. We all call the sect leader boss, but we've never seen what boss looks like. The one who met us on behalf of boss was a red parrot, so we don't even know if boss is a man or a woman. The woman paused. He hurriedly said, Please believe us. We are really just following orders. We know very little. At this time, another woman's soul said again, Our boss is the sect master of the Heavenly Secrets sect in the law enforcement circle. This is a very mysterious organization in the law enforcement circle. Many people in the law enforcement circle only know of the existence of the Heavenly Secrets sect. They don't know us at all, nor do they understand the Heavenly Secrets sect. We've never had any contact with them. So you're saying that you're all in charge of very secret operations? Qin Yun also realized that the traitor in Divine Moon Heaven City has a close relationship with the mysterious upper echelons of the law enforcement circle. This made him recall what Yu Tian said before. Although Mu Yu left the law enforcement circle, she still had special feelings for it. Maybe Mu Yu was the one who pulled the strings and let the traitor contact the law enforcement circle. Or maybe Mu Yu had joined forces with the Heavenly Secrets sect from the very beginning to plant the traitor in the Divine Moon Clan and had never been exposed. Yes, our actions have always been very secretive, and we have never failed. The woman said, Until we met you, we only failed. What kind of operation did you have before? Qin Yun asked. Did you have any operation against the Heavenly Sword formation? No, our previous operation was mainly against some races. We also secretly helped the Divine Kingdom of Heavens and the Emperors of Heavens, as well as the Bright Moon sect who went to Divine Moon of Heavens to spy on information. The woman said, Qin Yun, we will definitely cooperate with you. Please don't erase our memories. The souls of these black-clothed women are still useful to Qin Yun. They can help him understand the internal structure of the law enforcement circle. Chapter 2575. Qin Yun secretly memorized that Heaven Secrets sect. He wants to find out who planted the traitor. Even if it is Mu Yu, it is impossible for her to accomplish it by herself. Because the law enforcement world wants to contact the traitor, there must be a high-level member of the law enforcement world. Help. They are all in the same group. He must find out who are threatening the Divine Moon Clan. Qin Yun rested for a while, and then asked Little Phoenix to find Shui Tianzi, Zi Qingqing, and Long Tianji. There are things inside the Nine Sun Divine Spirit that they need to plant. Especially Long Tianji. She can help a lot because she can release many small clones. She could release many small lightning dragons before. Now, other than the small lightning dragons, she can also release many clones that are exactly the same as her. However, those clones are very weak. Although her clones are weak, they can quickly transform into small lightning dragons and escape. Even if the clones die, it won't have much effect on her main body. Long Tianji has a large number of clones. When sifting through a large amount of unfettered divine grass, she can quickly produce them and also smoke cigarette. Qin Yun wants them to help him produce more unfettered smoke so that he can sell them in the future and exchange them for divine universe golden stones. Qin Yun transferred the divine yang heavenly soil to the pearl where Little White's divine sun is located. He also allowed the three of them to travel between the two pearls. The divine yang heavenly soil is a lotus-shaped land. It was originally very small, but it has grown very fast during this period of time. It seems like it has been affected by the nine sun divine spirit. Therefore, the golden lotus has become bigger and bigger. More medicinal ingredients can be planted on it. When unfettered divine grass is planted on it, it grows even faster. This way they can produce even more tobacco in a short period of time. And when it comes to roasting and refining tobacco, Ling Yuner and Yang Yang can cooperate with each other. There is no need for Qin Yun to intervene. Qin Yun is also designing a large tool to automatically smoke cigarette. It can also be considered a kind of puppet. He has the heavenly puppet inscription spirit. It will be much easier and more convenient to make. As long as he creates the tool he wants, he only needs to inject his thoughts and the tool will automatically operate. With Zi Qingqing and Shui Tianzi watching over it, it can be quickly produced in batches. With alternate space ancient city guarding the through heaven sword formation, Qin Yun felt a lot more relaxed. Therefore, he can now have some free time to make the automatic cigarette making equipment that he envisioned. This was not difficult for him. In fact, it was very easy. After all, he only needed to repeat a very simple action. First, he made a very large cylinder. This cylinder was more than 10 meters long, and a person had to bend down to walk through it. Then, he made many puppet arms and palms and installed them on the inner wall of the cylinder. When those hands moved nimbly, they could automatically roll cigarette. He could make 2 or 3 of these things in a day, and he intended to make more than 10. Even if he made more, he wouldn't have enough unfettered divine grass, so 10 or so would be enough. The unfettered smoke that Qin Yun sold was also the ordinary kind. He would also make some high-quality special supply cigarettes and sell them at a high price. With the help of the cigarette-making equipment, Long Tianji doesn't need to be so busy. She only needs to help with harvesting the unfettered divine grass and sorting them. Qin Yun stayed in the chamber for a few days. Everything outside was calm. The blood moon and the dark moon were both in seclusion, and the entire heavenly sword array didn't have any big movement. The strange space ancient city is above the heavenly sword array. The law enforcement world didn't continue to attack. Sealing heaven 10 days is actually so quiet, this made Qin Yun feel somewhat uneasy. It made him feel like the calm before the storm. Could it be that the law enforcement world is letting go of this great opportunity? Qin Yun contacted many friends through sound transmission Divine Pearl to understand their situation. For example, there is no news from the Myriad Realms Divine Court. The nameless old man also said that this sealing heaven 10 days is so calm that it makes people uneasy. The reason why the law enforcement world created this sealing heaven 10 days is to carry out a great purge and suppress the forces that are resisting the law enforcement world in the myriad heavens divine desolate. Qin Yun, who is inside the heavenly sword array, is a 10-star anti-heaven thief. How could the law enforcement world let him go like this? Xiao Yun, you can't lower your guard. Sealing heaven 10 days will end in 3 days. Ling Yuner said, those people from the law enforcement world have lived for so long. Although they suffered a great loss before, it doesn't mean that they are all idiots. And I will always be vigilant against them. Qin Yun bid farewell to Feng Yu and the others, then left Divine Moon Heaven City and headed towards the Imperial Heaven Pawnshop. He hastily arrived at the inner hall of the Imperial Heaven Pawnshop, opened the book and contacted Heaven Extermination. "Grandpa, I have an urgent matter to discuss with you." Qin Yun shouted at the book and poured his mental power into it. Very soon, Heaven Extermination's figure appeared in the book. Looking at Heaven Extermination's appearance, he is currently flying. This book is similar to a magic mirror. Not only can it communicate through space, it can also see the other person's figure. However, it can only be used inside the Imperial Heaven Palace Hall. "Little guy, what's the matter? I, your grandpa, am running for my life." Although Heaven Extermination is saying this, it seems like he is very relaxed and from time to time he would look behind him. "Who is chasing you?" Qin Yun asked. "Who else can it be? Of course it's those bullshit great sovereigns from the law enforcement world. They are chasing your grandpa's ass." Heaven Extermination said with mischievous smile. "Oh, that's right, little guy, how are things on your side? Your lair wasn't destroyed, was it?" "No, the strange space ancient city is protecting me," Qin Yun said with smile. "I rescued the strange space race. They are truly protecting my old nest. Many law enforcers have been taken away by the outsiders." "What? Did you really save the outsiders?" Heaven Destroyer exclaimed in shock. "Amazing! Back then, me and that foolish son of Heavenly Tao lost all face in the strange space ancient city because we patted our chest and promised that we could break the seal. But in the end we failed." "Grandpa, are those strange space race reliable?" Qin Yun asked. He has met An Wukong before. He knows that he is indeed a very good person, but he is not sure. "Of course they are reliable. Your pawnshop has strange space races playthings, otherwise you would not be able to contact me. The reason your pawnshop can teleport everywhere is because they have the knowledge of the strange space race." Heaven Extermination said. "Although I failed to rescue them, they provided us with a lot of space-related knowledge. But they provided us with a lot of knowledge about space. So that's how it is." Qin Yun is somewhat surprised. He did not expect that the Imperial Heaven Pawnshop's space-traversing ability would have such a great connection with the strange space race. "In short, these people are very reliable. I really want to go to God Desolate to meet them and learn from them." Heaven Extermination finished speaking and then looked behind him. "Grandpa, in the beginning of Heaven Sealing 10 days, the law enforcement world only came to probe. Later on, because of the appearance of the strange space race, a few of their sex people were captured. Is it because they don't dare to come?" Qin Yun asked. "Of course not. The law enforcement world's people are very troublesome. If they did not come, then it is very likely that they are entangled with other matters. Maybe they found something in the center of God Desolate. In short, don't let down your guard. Wait until the Heaven Sealing 10 days are over." "Grandpa, have you heard of the law enforcement world's Heaven Secret Sect?" Qin Yun asked. "What? You also know about the Heaven Secret Sect? How did you know? Did you provoke the Heaven Secret Sect?" Heaven Extermination suddenly asked in shock. Qin Yun shook his head. "I didn't provoke them. I suspect that the Heaven Secret Sect planted a spy in Divine Moon Clan. I am now the acting clan emperor of Divine Moon Clan." Heaven Extermination's expression suddenly changed. "Grandpa, what is it? Don't scare me." Qin Yun saw Heaven Extermination's expression and became very nervous. "You are in big trouble. The Heaven Secret Sect's plan is very big and very long-term. They are not in a hurry to win. They will use 10,000 years or even 100,000 years to achieve their goal." Heaven Extermination said, "Truth be told, your Heavenly Tao old man was killed by them. Heaven's Secret Sect killed him. The previous Heavenly Tao was destroyed by the Heaven Secret Sect." Qin Yun is very shocked. Yes, the Heaven Secret Sect is very good at planning, Moreover, it is very unexpected. Moreover, no one else in the law enforcement world knows about their plan. The Heaven Secret Sect is very independent. If they planted a spy in Divine Moon Clan and you are now the clan emperor, it means they are targeting you. That means they're targeting you. Heaven Destroyer's face was solemn as he said, "Quickly identify the traitor and then eradicate him." Qin Yun jumped in fright. He thought that the spy was targeting Divine Moon Clan. He never expected that it was targeting him. How did the Heaven Secret Sect know that I would become the acting clan emperor of Divine Moon Clan? Qin Yun is still somewhat puzzled. When did they start planning? Heaven Extermination said with frown. The Heaven Secret Sect's strength is their divine strategy and ingenuity. They can see through Heaven's secrets. It is very likely that they have foreseen something many years ago and you are a heavenly traitor, so naturally they will target you. In other words, there are many factions within the law enforcement world. They are doing the same thing but their methods are different, right? Qin Yun took a deep breath. Indeed, the heavenly rules and Tao orthodoxy stipulated that the heavenly Tao must pass on its position at a specific time. But the heavenly Tao was unwilling, so the law enforcement world took action to destroy it. The heavenly Tao resisted, and caused the law enforcement world to suffer heavy losses. But in the end, the Heaven Secret Sect secretly plotted many years ago. It caused the heavenly Tao to be destroyed. Heaven Extermination said, "And you must be very cautious and decisive. Once you confirm that there is a spy, you must mercilessly kill him." Qin Yun nodded. He now realized how terrifying the Heaven Secret Sect is. The souls of the black-clothed women he captured before were the outermost members of the Heaven Secret Sect, so they didn't know much, they didn't even meet the sect master. "Grandfather, have you ever been targeted by the Heaven Secret Sect?" Qin Yun asked. "Of course I have been done in by them, I was almost destroyed. These guys are truly treacherous. They didn't succeed in capturing me but their plot against me was effective. It made me fall into dire straits until now." Heaven Extermination said, "So they can't be considered to have failed." Even Heaven Extermination acknowledged the terror of the Heaven Secret Sect. Then Qin Yun must be even more careful. There are still 3 days left of Heaven Sealing 10 days. Chapter 2576. Qin Yun suddenly ran out to save Hua Yu and the others. He was not in Divine Moon Heavenly City at that time. If there is a traitor causing trouble, it will be very troublesome. "Xiao Yun, it seems like the traitor will not target Divine Moon Clan, he will target you. You don't need to worry too much." Ling Yuner said. "No. They attacked Hua Yu and the others before. A traitor provided them with their whereabouts, that's why they were ambushed." Qin Yun shook his head and said, "He has now returned to Divine Moon Heavenly City and is inside Fragrant Charm Pavilion. Heaven Sealing 10 days will end in 3 days. He will not go anywhere or do anything during these 3 days. He must ensure that he is in peak condition and ready to fight at any time. Yi Yaoxue and Xian Rujing are not keeping an eye on Dark Moon and Blood Moon. Hua Yu is in charge. Hua Yu is staying at Dark Moon and Blood Moon's residence. According to Xian Rujing and the others, Dark Moon and Blood Moon are in seclusion together. Many people can cultivate Sun and Moon Heart Sutra in Divine Moon Clan, so it is very normal for them to cultivate together. Hua Yu is waiting at their residence. Qin Yun is very worried about Hua Yu. He took out Sound Transmission Divine Pearl and contacted her from time to time to ask her about the situation. "Clan Emperor, what are you afraid of? This is Guang Han Palace. How can they dare to act recklessly? Besides, my strength is not weak." Hua Yu saw that Qin Yun is very concerned about her and her mood is not that bad. Qin Yun was still unsure if the Heaven Secrets chapter really had a spy planted in them or if it was planted by Mu Yu. If it was planted by Mu Yu, why would she do it? Hua Yu is very bored by herself, so she asked Yi Yaoshua and Xian Rujing to accompany her. Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoshua are Qin Yun's men. Hua Yu also wants to know more about Qin Yun, so she took this opportunity to chat with them to kill time and also reduce the anxiety in her heart. Yi Yaoshua and Xian Rujing are also very chatty people. And Xian Rujing and Qin Yun have met many times, especially Xian Rujing's past life and present life, as well as how she was deprived of her love thread and then had many entanglements with Qin Yun. This caused Hua Yu to exclaim in admiration again and again. Rujing, so it turns out that your love thread grew back after being deprived of it? How magical! Hua Yu exclaimed. My originally deprived emotion thread has returned and I have dual emotion thread. That is why I love that guy to death. Xian Rujing said with smile. Yi Yaoshua asked, Sister Hua Yu, does your Wang Ju really not mind Xiao Yun becoming your clan's emperor? This guy is a womanizer. Since big sister Xiang Yun wants him to be the clan's emperor, of course we don't mind. Hua Yu laughed. He's a playboy, then his heart was also broken by you guys. Sister Hua Yu, do you want to make his heart bloom even more? Xian Rujing said with chuckle. Even if I want to, I have to line up. Hua Yu laughed tenderly. I've heard that most of the beauties in the Guanghan Palace have been acquainted with the clan emperor for a long time. What's more, those damned girls in our clan, when they found out that the acting clan emperor was a man, didn't they treat him well? They put on clothes and ran around naked all day to attract the attention of the clan emperor. Yi Yaoshua suddenly said in low voice, Big sister Hua Yu, you understand big sister Shang Yun very well. Then do you think it is possible that big sister Shang Yun and Xiao Yun? Wasn't there a rumor saying that after sleeping with Xiao Yun, big sister Shang Yun imparted divine moon bloodline divine source to Xiao Yun? Hua Yu lightly shook her head and said in low voice, I also don't know. Probably not, you guys don't know, sister Xiang Yun doesn't have any love thread, she doesn't have any feelings towards men and women, moreover she is very disgusted with men from the bottom of her heart. She made Qin Yun our acting clan emperor because he is worthy of her trust. Moreover, he saved our divine moon clan. He has you guys as his guarantor and he is strong enough. Even if I don't have love thread, I can still regenerate. My love thread reappeared after being together with Xiao Yun. Xian Rujing mysteriously smiled. I think sister Xiang Yun might already have some signs. Don't speak carelessly about this matter, we can talk about it in private. Hua Yu lightly smiled and said, Actually, I also talked to Feng Yu and the others before, they are the same as me, they all think that Qin Yun and sister Xiang Yun are not possible. Yi Yaoshua said, I have to say, Xiao Yun is very capable, he can make sister Shueiyue run away. It must be known that sister Shueiyue used to hide in her room all day, it seems like she has lost interest in everything in the world. Look at her now, she is very busy inside and outside. Yes, I almost don't recognize her. Yes, I almost don't recognize her. Indeed, I almost don't recognize her anymore. Hua Yu covered her mouth and said with light smile, I didn't expect sister Shueiyue to be so passionate on the inside, she didn't come out before, I guess it is because she wanted a man but couldn't come in contact with a good man. So she felt that everything in the world was boring. Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoshua also laughed delicately. You too, don't say this to sister Shueiyue, she will scold me. Hua Yu said with smile. We know. Yi Yaoshua nodded with smile. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed by. Those 4 myriad realms' divine suns still haven't appeared, it means that heaven's ceiling 10 sun is not over yet. These 3 days have been very calm and tranquil, and Hua Yu's mood gradually became heavy. Once heaven's ceiling 10 sun is over, she will have to face dark moon and blood moon no matter what. If they are truly traitors, she won't know what to do at that time. Even though she told Qin Yun to deal with them decisively, but when it comes time to do it, she will be swayed by her emotions. After all, they are good sisters who grew up together. Law enforcement world doesn't dare to come? Those strange space race are so awesome. They actually scared the law enforcement world into submission, Yi Yaoshua said. Yi Yaoshua and Xian Rujing also learned about Qin Yun's experience in strange space ancient city from Huayu. It is late at night. After tonight, Heaven Ceiling 10 sun will be over. Huayu's expression is very cold as she said, "We must be careful. Law enforcement world might attack at the last moment." Yi Yaoshua and Xian Rujing became vigilant. At this time, the door of Blood Moon and Dark Moon's seclusion room suddenly moved. Huayu and the others, who were already very vigilant, were immediately alarmed and looked at the door. Just as they looked over, the door suddenly opened. "Huayu, you have returned?" a voice came from inside. "And you two are really something. Why are you in seclusion at this time? Sister Shangyun is not here. We should be assisting the acting clan emperor." Huayu walked towards the door, her heart is thumping. Acting clan emperor is so capable, he doesn't need our assistance. Didn't he just exterminate heavenly divine nations and venerable emperors? Dark Moon's voice came from inside the room. Hearing these words, Huayu felt that something is wrong. Because she knows that Dark Moon and Blood Moon were in seclusion when Qin Yun was fighting heavenly divine nations, they should not know about this matter. How do they know? Could it be that they were in contact with the outside world while they were in seclusion? "Huayu, how do you know?" Dark Moon asked. She is still inside the room. The room is filled with black gas. It is impossible to see anyone inside. "Know what?" Huayu said with frown. She should be the one asking Dark Moon and Xian Rujing. "Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoshua are always watching us. Did you arrange it? How do you know we are traitors? When Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoshua were watching us, we did not expose anything. You were ambushed. That is a matter for later." Dark Moon's voice gradually became cold. "Dark Moon and Blood Moon, you are indeed traitors." Huayu felt pain in her heart and shouted in cold voice. "It seems like you already knew about this." Dark Moon said with sneer. "Huayu, we are sisters. I hope you can tell us when we were exposed." Yi Yaoshua and Xian Rujing are now in battle mode. "We are sisters? What happened to you? You saved us before. We are like blood sisters. How did you become like this?" Huayu shouted. "Why? Do you want to destroy Divine Moon Clan?" Dark Moon groaned. "Divine Moon Clan is a Tao tradition that goes against heavenly rules. We are just trying to correct heavenly rules and Tao tradition." Blood Moon, who has been silent all this time, said in deep voice, "Huayu, look at your palms." Huayu, Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoshua immediately looked at their palms and discovered that their palms have turned black. There are many black runes on them. This is curse? Huayu's expression changed. "Indeed, you are in our room. Aren't you delivering yourselves to our door?" Dark Moon laughed loudly and said, "Huayu, if you want to live, quickly tell us, how did you discover us?" Huayu firmly clenched her fists, her beautiful eyes are filled with tears, she yelled while crying, "Why? Why are you doing this? Because they are not Dark Moon or Blood Moon." This is Qin Yun's voice. He suddenly arrived at the door of the secret room. Seeing Qin Yun appear, Huayu cannot help but sit down on the ground and cry bitterly. She discovered that her heart is still too weak. She is unable to summon her courage at this crucial moment. "Qin Yun, we underestimated you. But you will still die," Dark Moon said with sneer. "Heaven's secret sect, if you have something to say, come at me. You harmed innocent people to deal with me, you will regret it." Qin Yun's eyes suddenly turned red. "You know we are from Heaven's secret sect? It seems like our Heaven's secret sect is not airtight. You are very capable, you are the first person in history to know our Heaven's secret sect's operation," Dark Moon said. "You are not Dark Moon or Blood Moon. Where are they?" Qin Yun did not attack because he wants to find them. Dark Moon or Blood Moon. They were born from Mother Moon. If Mother Moon wants them to die, they will die. The old Dark Moon and Blood Moon are already dead. We are the new ones, we will replace them. Blood Moon laughed loudly and said, Qin Yun, Hua Yu and the others have been hit by our curse technique. If you want them to live, kill yourselves. Dark Moon said. Chapter 2577. Qin Yun firmly grasped the divine saber. His heart is very conflicted. He still underestimated the ruthlessness of Dark Moon and Blood Moon. He thought that Dark Moon and Blood Moon's target was only him, and they would not dare to act recklessly in Divine Moon Heavenly City. Even if they attacked, Hua Yu and Xian Rujing would be able to deal with them. But their curse technique is very strange. It actually quietly entered Hua Yu and Dark Moon's bodies. Qin Yun suddenly realized that the reason why Blood Moon and Dark Moon can curse so easily is because of the crescent moon mark on their forehead. That mark allows them to communicate mentally. Within a short distance, they can communicate with each other through the crescent moon mark. The reason why Hua Yu and Xian Rujing did not discover it is because there is something wrong with the mark. Qin Yun, quickly kill us. Dark Moon proudly laughed and said, So what if you can kill us? If you kill us, the three of them will be buried with us. Qin Yun is standing at the door of the secret room. He can sense that Dark Moon and Blood Moon's souls do not have any fluctuation of divine sun descendants. It means that after killing them, they will most likely die forever. Xiao Yun, quickly kill them. Xian Rujing's voice is very low. Xiao Yun, with your ability, you can surely help us break the curse. Quickly kill them or there will be endless troubles in the future. Yi Yaoxue anxiously yelled. They used our divine moon mark to curse us. Clan Emperor, if we let them live, our divine moon clan will be in great danger. Hua Yu gritted her teeth and said, Don't worry, we will surely cross this calamity. Blood Moon fiercely shouted. At this time, a red shadow flew out of the secret room and howled with laughter. Qin Yun, you won't dare kill us. Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoxue are your beloved women. Do you have the heart to see them die miserably because of the curse technique? Blood Moon came out and rushed towards Hua Yu. Shua. Qin Yun hacked with his saber. This saber strike is very steady and very calm. There is no energy wave at all. However, it is filled with furious destructive power. It landed on Blood Moon's body and instantly destroyed her body. Blood Moon is gone. Her body has been completely destroyed by Qin Yun's 9-Sun World Extermination power through Imperial Heaven Divine power. Her body has turned into dust and dissipated. Alright. Goodbye, Clan Emperor. We'll wait for you. Hua Yu said while laughing and crying. At this time, a huge red flower suddenly appeared under the feet of Hua Yu, Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoxue and wrapped them up. Just as the huge red flower wrapped them up, many dark runes appeared on the surface of the flower bud. Qin Yun closed his bloodshot eyes. His entire body overflowed with a black-red evil aura. It's useless, they won't live for long. And you sneered. Even if Hua Yu uses her secret technique to slow down the flow of time in the flower bud, they will all die in the end. The flower buds that were originally red suddenly turned black, and then gradually turned into a black mass of air. The curse that they were under was too terrifying. Qin Yun waved his hand and stored the 3 large flower buds. Then he walked into the secret room and said coldly, Heaven's secret sect, you will die miserably. Ridiculous, you don't even know where our Heaven Secret sect is, you don't even know how many people our Heaven Secret sect has. And you said with sneer, Qin Yun, our Heaven Secret sect is not afraid of you. After Qin Yun entered the secret room, he discovered that there is a secret passage here. And you disappeared into the secret passage just now. Qin Yun learned that you has very formidable escape and concealment technique. They can turn into shadows and hide in the darkness. No one can discover them. She must die. Qin Yun immediately took out Sound Transmission Divine Pearl to sense Feng Yu and Shuiyue's location. They are now together. Not good. Qin Yun's heart jumped. If Feng Yu and Shuiyue are also affected, Wouldn't that mean? He immediately used Transcending Void Step, shuttled through space and rushed toward Shueiyue and Fengyu. Shueiyue and Fengyu are inside a large hall of Guanghan Palace. They are discussing how to increase Divine Moon Clan's strength. Just as Qin Yun arrived, he saw a black shadow wrapped around Shueiyue and Fengyu. Clan Emperor. Shueiyue and Fengyu discovered that Qin Yun has arrived. Furthermore, Qin Yun is in evil transformation state. He looks very frightening. Quickly defend, and use Shi. Qin Yun spoke and rushed over. However, the black shadow immediately floated away. A large number of black runes suddenly appeared on Shueiyue and Fengyu's faces. Qin Yun, ha ha ha, you can't catch me. And you laughed loudly. Clan Emperor, what the hell is going on? Shueiyue is extremely frightened. She can feel her life force flowing away. What is you doing? She wants to kill us. In that instant, Fengyu felt as if the world was collapsing. She is not you, she is a spy planted in the Divine Moon Clan by the law enforcement realm. Qin Yun saw that they have become like this and felt his heart ache. Ling Yun'er has already come out and hastily said, Xiao Yun, if this goes on, they will die. I have no other way. Qin Yun is incomparably dejected. Although he cultivates the Tao of Imperial Heaven, he is helpless in the face of this terrifying curse technique. Time stop can stop the curse technique from spreading. Wait until you find the method to undo it, then you can help them undo the curse technique. Ling Yun'er said anxiously. Time will stop passing in the vicinity of a powerful nether sun, but this requires the nether sun to circulate at all times. Ling Yun'er said in urgent voice. Is my nether sun enough? Qin Yun asked. You and my nether sun together are enough. Give Hua Yu and the others to me. Quickly chase after Yu. Ling Yun urged. Qin Yun immediately handed over the 3 Divine Moon Clan's kings, as well as Xian Rujing and Yi Yaoxue to Ling Yun. He followed the aura left behind by Yu and hastily chased after her. On the way, he released a formidable aura. He did not have enough time to notify others. Now it is late at night. Heaven's Sealing 10 sun has also ended. Divine Moon's light pierced through the yellow clouds and shone down on Divine Moon Heavenly City. At this time, an extremely formidable aura suddenly dropped down from the sky. After Qin Yun sensed this aura, he felt that it is very familiar and also a bit strange. This aura belongs to Yu Shangyun, but it is very formidable. This formidable divine power aura reminded Qin Yun of Heavenly Ghost Ancestor. When Heavenly Ghost Ancestor surpassed Divine Heavenly Monarch Realm, he had this kind of aura. Yu Shangyun has returned, she has inherited Divine Moon and her strength is very dreadful. Qin Yun feels very guilty in his heart because all 5 kings have met with mishap. They are like sisters to Yu Shangyun. Qin Yun's pursuit of Yu has caused a great commotion. Their aura has already alarmed the entire Divine Moon Heavenly City. Many Divine Moon women came out one after another because this kind of commotion usually means that a great battle is taking place. Especially now that Qin Yun is using extreme evil devil divine power, it is the most dreadful. Adding Yu Shangyun's imposing aura, the entire Divine Moon Heavenly City is alarmed. By Suxin, Xiao Xianqin and many other core members hastily flew out. Yu Shangyun has returned. Just as she returned to Divine Moon Heavenly City, she discovered that 2 formidable auras are chasing each other. You can't run away. Qin Yun shouted at Yu. Yu flew above Divine Moon Heavenly City and suddenly stopped flying. She is floating in the sky. The dress on her body is actually tattered. She vigorously tore off the black dress on her body, and her snow-white beautiful body suddenly appeared. What Qin Yun did not expect is that Yu's face is actually covered in tears. She has a delicate and pitiful appearance. Where is the ferocious and terrifying aura from before? Qin Yun, you demon! You raped Xie, Fengyu, Hua Yu. Shueyu was raped and killed by you. And you cried out in grief and anger. and I was also brutally humiliated by you. Fortunately, I was able to escape. Qin Yun is startled because at this moment, Yu Shangyun is speeding up and flying over. When all the women in Divine Moon Heavenly City heard in Yu's words, their hearts suffered a great blow. And Yu, what happened? Yu Shangyun's voice came from afar. At this moment, an Yu's body suddenly swelled up. Sister Shangyun, goodbye. I don't blame you for leading a wolf into the house. I only hate that I'm not strong enough. See you in the next life. If there is a next life, we will be sisters again. And Yu's voice was miserable as she shouted with tears in her eyes. Then, her body suddenly exploded. Boom! A loud sound jolted the dazed Qin Yun awake. The entire sky above Divine Moon Heavenly City vibrated with a strong wave of divine power. That is the Dark Moon's divine power. At this moment, Qin Yun inexplicably lamented in his heart. He finally knew how terrifying the Heaven Secret's sex methods are. Yu Shangyun returned. She is not wearing her black armor and her expression is ice cold. Although her eyes are flickering with tears, they are filled with terrifying killing intent and anger. Qin Yun, what did you do? Yu Shangyun's ice-cold voice caused the entire Divine Moon Heavenly City to tremble. Her voice seemed to be squeezed out word by word from clenched teeth. Qin Yun's eyes flickered with red light. His head overflowed with a black-red evil aura, making him look even more evil. At this moment, many women also flew over. They couldn't believe that Qin Yun would do such a thing. However, and Yu had indeed self-destructed. Furthermore, Shuiyu, Fengyu, Huayu and Shuiyu did not come out. Especially Little Phoenix, Xiao Xianqin, Bai Suxin and the others. They all looked at Qin Yun with sad and doubtful expressions. They did not believe that Qin Yun was that kind of person. Do you believe me? Qin Yun remained silent for a while and then slowly said. At this moment, he didn't retract the extreme devil god power because he couldn't die. If he was willing to be killed by Yu Shangyun, then Yi Yaoxue, Fengyu and the others would also die. I used to believe you. Yu Shangyun's killing intent is very dense, her voice is ice-cold to the bone. She tightly clenched her fists and furious divine power violently rushed out, causing the entire Divine Moon Heavenly City to tremble unceasingly. Qin Yun calmly said, "It doesn't matter if you believe me or not, I will give you an explanation." "I don't want to listen to your explanation, scram for me," Yu Shangyun furiously yelled. At the same time, the entire Divine Moon Heavenly City slowly floated up. Yu Shangyun wants to bring the entire Divine Moon Heavenly City away from the Heavenly Sword formation. Blood Moon and Dark Moon are traitors. They were planted here by Law Enforcement World's Heaven Secret sect. And they are no longer Blood Moon and Dark Moon. I indeed killed Blood Moon with my own hands, but I am not sure if she is truly dead or not. Fengyu, Huayu, Shuiyu, as well as Yao Shui and Rujing, they were all poisoned by a malicious curse technique. I placed them in an environment where time has stopped. Wait until I find a method to remove the curse, then I will let them appear in front of you again. Qin Yun finished speaking and took out the silver dagger. It is also Yu Shangyun's Divine Moon Heavenly Spirit. Chapter 2578. Qin Yun flew out of the Divine Moon Heavenly City and floated in the air. He watched as the Divine Moon Heavenly City slowly rose and flew towards the Divine Moon. He took out the sound transmission Divine Pearl to contact Siekiru, but there was no response. Have they regained control of the Divine Moon? Qin Yun watched as the Divine Moon Heavenly City left and tightly gripped the sound transmission Divine Pearl. He swore that he would definitely eliminate the Heaven Secrets sect. Although he hated the Heaven Secrets sect to the core, he had no choice but to admire this mysterious and unfathomable Heaven Secrets sect. If Yu Shangyun was that kind of ruthless woman, she would definitely destroy Qin Yun. Then, the Heaven's Secret Sect's plan to kill with a borrowed knife would be a success. No one would even know that the Heaven's Secrets sect was behind it. The Heaven's Secrets sect still misjudged people's emotions. They did not know that Yu Shangyun had very complicated feelings for Qin Yun. Therefore, no matter how furious Yu Shangyun was, she did not kill Qin Yun. Forget about killing Qin Yun, she did not even move her hand. This also made Qin Yun feel even more melancholy. Yu Shangyun trusted him so much, but the matter was ruined by him. All the Divine Moon Clan's king's titles were gone in an instant. This was a huge blow to Yu Shangyun. Qin Yun could understand her feelings, so he did not blame Yu Shangyun. Instead, he hoped that Yu Shangyun would beat him up. Xiao Yun, you've already explained it. If Sister Shangyun calms down, she will definitely come and find you to ask. Ling Yuner said, look at how angry she is, but she didn't hit you. Sigh, no matter what. This is all my fault. I did not fulfill my responsibility as the clan emperor. If I had been more decisive and killed those two traitors earlier, so many things wouldn't have happened. Qin Yun blamed himself very much. You also have your own difficulties. After all, there is no evidence to prove that they are traitors, and this involves too much. Ling Yun comforted him. Qin Yun took out the sound transmission divine pearl and contacted Little Phoenix. Brother Xiao Yun, what's wrong? Little Phoenix's voice sounded very sad. Little Phoenix, I explained it before. You were there and you heard it. Please believe me, I will definitely give you an answer in the future. Qin Yun said. Feng Yu, Shui Yu and Hua Yu, they are not dead, they are only cursed. Brother Yun, I believe you. Sister Shui Ru also trusts you. We've known you for so long and we know you very well. Don't worry, I'll explain it to the other sisters. Little Phoenix said. You don't have to help me explain to them. I will definitely let Shui Yu, Feng Yu, and Hua Yu go back. Only then can I explain it clearly. Qin Yun sighed and said, Little Phoenix, if anything happens in Divine Moon Heaven City, remember to inform me immediately. And Little Phoenix agreed. Qin Yun flew back to the Imperial Heaven pawnshop. He has returned to his original appearance. At that moment, he received a message from An Wukong, asking about the Mystic Moon Heaven City. Qin Yun did not say much. He only said that Divine Moon Heaven City had returned to Divine Moon Heavens. Then, he thanked An Wukong. After that, An Wukong left with the ancient city. He wanted to go somewhere near the Divine Court. On the way back to the Imperial Heaven pawnshop, Qin Yun contacted Ming Yongtian and Ming Yunyue on Divine Moon of the Heavens to understand the situation. He found out that Wang Haoyue, the Bright Moon Sect Master, has been in contact with the law enforcers. Apparently, they want to cooperate with them. Wang Haoyue doesn't want to be enemies with anyone. She wants to cooperate with them if possible. Qin Yun promised Ming Yunyue that he will repay the Divine Universe Golden Stone as soon as possible. Soon after, Qin Yun contacted Little Palace Spirit and Bai Si. He asked them to wait for him at the Heavenly Palace of the Nine Yang Divine Palace. Qin Yun arrived at the Imperial Heaven pawnshop's inner hall and entered the meeting room. He also asked Yun Long, Dongfang Ying, Dongfang Bingbing, Netherworld Great Emperor, MOG and other core members of the pawnshop to come over. Xiao Fuyun, what happened? Why do I feel that something is wrong with you? MOG is a woman after all, she can sense that Qin Yun's mood is not right. It's nothing, it's my personal matter. Granny MOG, the Imperial Heaven pawnshop will start moving around like before. You should be able to adapt, right? Qin Yun said with smile. Boss, we are already used to it. Dongfang Ying said. It's good that the pawnshop is moving around, we can discover more regions. Yun Long said. Boss, the situation in Divine Desolate is very complicated now. Moving around will help us understand the structure of Divine Desolate and discover new races. Qin Yun nodded and said, I will leave it to you to arrange. I might not come back very often in the future, so if Nine Yang Divine Palace needs help, you must do your best to help. Yes. Emoji and the others agreed. They also realized that Qin Yun is a bit different, so their expression gradually became grave. I will quickly spread the news of Nine Yang Divine Palace's Palace King position. Even if I am no longer the Palace King, when Nine Yang Divine Palace needs help, you must not refuse. Qin Yun warned again. Boss, what happened? Yun Long asked. I encountered a powerful enemy. They are very powerful people. I have to put aside everything and focus on dealing with them. Qin Yun also answered truthfully. Netherworld Great Emperor and the others became silent. The enemy Qin Yun spoke of is definitely very strong. Even if they want to help, they are powerless. Netherworld Great Emperor said, Xiaofun, don't worry and deal with those powerful enemies. We will run the pawn shop well. If Nine Yang Divine Palace needs help, we will also help. Then many thanks. Qin Yun stood up and waved his hand, hinting them to leave the meeting room. After they left, Qin Yun took out the book and contacted Heaven Exterminator. Grandfather, Qin Yun lightly yelled. 10 days of Heaven sealing have finally passed, are you alright? Heaven Exterminator asked. I am still alive, I almost died. Qin Yun said with bitter smile. Heaven's secret sect is truly formidable, I almost died. Heaven Exterminator said, Don't worry, you are still alive. Grandfather, where is Heaven's secret sect? How much do you know about Heaven's secret sect? I want to go find them. Qin Yun asked. I am also looking for them, but they are hiding very deeply, I can't find them. Heaven Exterminator shook his head and asked, Brat, how did they scheme against you? Qin Yun explained everything to Heaven Exterminator and then very guiltily said, Grandfather, I did not listen to you, I was not decisive enough in handling this matter. Don't blame yourself, everyone has weak points, they grasped your weak points. I was also in a similar situation back then. Heaven's secret sect has already missed this opportunity. If they want to attack you again, they will have to rearrange their plan, and that will be many years later. Heaven Exterminator said, Cultivate diligently, after you become stronger, you will slaughter Heaven's secret sect until not even a chicken or dog remains. Qin Yun thought that Heaven Exterminator would give him a good scolding. He really did not expect that Heaven Exterminator would actually understand him. Grandfather, is Myriad Heaven's divine moon under control again? Can you see Myriad Heaven's divine moon in Ancient Desolate? Qin Yun asked. I don't know about Myriad Heaven's divine moon situation, but it is most likely controlled by that little girl Tian Shixiang. Tian Shixiang did not kill you, it means she still has some feelings for you. It is strange, her feelings were taken away by Mu Yu. There shouldn't be any feelings between man and woman. Her feelings were taken away by Mu Yu? When did this happen? Qin Yun asked in amazement. It happened many years ago. After she left the Nine Heavens, she must have agreed in order to obtain Mu Yu's protection. I suspect that after Mu Yu left the law enforcement world, she was invited back, but nobody knows about this matter. So maybe she joined Heaven's secret sect later on. Qin Yun said with frown. If this is the case, then this matter was planned by Mu Yu? Why did she do all of this? Maybe because of some kind of obsession. Or maybe she separated her righteous and evil side, leaving the righteous side inside the moon and the evil side inside the law enforcement world's Heaven secret sect. Heaven Exterminator said. Hearing Heaven Exterminator's words, Qin Yun secretly suspects that Mu Yu is very likely to be involved in this matter. Brat, no matter what, you must still be careful. Don't let that little girl Tian Shixiang kill you. After all, she has crossed paths with Mu Yu. I am worried that Mu Yu can control her. Heaven Exterminator said. Your soul has not matured to a certain level, so it is not immortal. You must remember that you are immortal and indestructible. I will remember, Qin Yun said. Wait until I stabilize. I will give you a few heavenly pig roars. Heaven Exterminator laughed and said, Don't think too much, surviving is the way of the king. Many people have been killed by Heaven's secret sect, some even committed suicide. You can be considered very awesome. Qin Yun is even more worried about Divine Moon Heavenly City. After all, it is closely related to Mu Yu. After he cut off contact with Heaven Exterminator, he immediately went to Nine Yang Divine Palace. First, he carved runes on some young and outstanding disciples, then he went to Inscription Palace to impart rune knowledge. Finally, he arrived at Heavenly Palace Pavilion. Young Palace Spirit and White Death are already here. The two of them are petite and exquisite. When they stand together, they look like a pair of delicate and charming sisters. Young Palace Spirit, White Commander, from now on, you are the Palace Kings of Nine Yang Divine Palace. I will announce this matter. I, Qin Yun, will forever separate from Nine Yang Divine Palace. Qin Yun said. Big Brother Palace King, this. Why? Young Palace Spirit hastily asked. We don't want to be Palace Kings. Apart from you, who is worthy to be Nine Yang Divine Palace's Palace King? White Death promptly shook her head. You can do it. I believe in you. Qin Yun placed his hands on their shoulders and said with smile, I am going to do something even more important. Don't worry, the other elders of Nine Yang Divine Palace have already promised me that they will listen to your orders. For many years, White Death has been in charge of managing Nine Yang Divine Palace. Therefore, the elders of the various palaces all recognize her ability. Chapter 2579. Although Qin Yun spoke calmly, White Death and the little palace spirit could tell that the enemy Qin Yun was about to face was very strong. What made them even more worried was that Qin Yun had already made these preparations. Was he planning for the worst? You will always be my big brother Palace King. The little palace spirit threw herself into Qin Yun's embrace and sobbed. Qin Yun smiled at Bai Si and said, From now on, the Nine Yang Divine Palace will be handed over to you. I originally wanted to give the position of Palace King to the older generation, but they all rejected it and appointed it to you two sisters. Palace King, I will definitely make the Nine Yang Palace stronger. White Death's voice was powerful and his expression was firm. I believe you. Qin Yun nodded and said, Don't worry. If the Nine Yang Divine Palace encounters any danger, I will definitely rush back immediately. Following that, Qin Yun left the Nine Yang Divine Palace and headed for the Divine Inscription Mountain. He would only occasionally come to the Divine Inscription Mountain, but this place was operating extremely well. There was no need for him to worry at all. Qin Yun only wanted to reminisce with his old friends and tell them that he has stepped down from his position as Palace King. The members of the Inscription Gate all knew that Qin Yun had a lot of things to do. Furthermore, the enemy he was facing was very powerful. Even if they wanted to help, they were powerless. What they could do was to protect the Heavenly Sword formation and help the Nine Yang Divine Palace become stronger, because it was Qin Yun's foundation. Qin Yun left the Inscription Gate and headed for Ziyang Villa to have a chat with the Elf Emperor Zao. When he arrived, Princess Feng Feng even greeted him sweetly. Qin Yun and Zao were in an elegant small hall. Brother Z, this is for you. Qin Yun took out a very large purple pearl and said, I promise to give you a Divine Universe Purple Sun Seed. This is a big gift. Zao's hands were trembling when he received it. Isn't the Bloodline Heavenly Pattern box you gave me a huge gift? Qin Yun said with a smile. Brother Z, I need to go do some things. I might not be back for a period of time. You even spread the title of Palace King. Are you planning for the worst? Zao also knows that Qin Yun has many enemies and they are all very strong. Not really. I, Qin Yun, will not be defeated so easily. Qin Yun shook his head and smiled. I just want to deal with my enemies seriously, this way I can have no distractions. Zao nodded and said with a smile, That's right. Originally, I planned to personally kill the White Sun Elven Emperor, but I didn't expect that this fellow would be killed by Brother Qin in just a few moves. Then from now on, the 9 Yang Divine Palace will be in Brother Z's care. Qin Yun patted Zao's shoulder and said, The Heavenly Sword Formation is already the home of our Purple Sun Elf tribe. Zao laughed. You can rest assured we will definitely help the 9 Yang Divine Palace with all our strength. I also plan to let some young people enter the 9 Yang Divine Palace to learn more. Qin Yun left Purple Sun Manor and immediately headed for 9 Yang Royal City. The 9 Yang Royal family's clan emperor was Yu Shi, but Yu Shi had run off somewhere to carry out the goddess mandate. The person in charge of the 9 Suns royal family now was the Qin clan king. The Qin clan king used to call himself the Qin clan's Tharch. After the 9 Sun royal family was unified, the 9 Sun royal family's Tharch became the clan king. Qin Yun and the Qin clan king are old friends. Back then, Qin Yun learned many things from him. It was related to his bloodline. The bloodline of Qin Yun's body in this life has the bloodline of the 9 Sun royal family. Apart from that, there is something else hidden. Qin Yun has always been investigating this point. After greeting the Qin clan king, Qin Yun went to see Granny Qianghua. She also asked about Qin Huayu. Qin Huayu is in Divine Moon clan. Because of Qin Yun, she could easily enter the Guanghan Palace. She naturally knows about Qin Yun's matter in Divine Moon Heaven City. Other than White Sun Heaven City, Qin Yun went to greet all of the big cities in the Heavenly Sword Formation. Bai Suxin is not in White Sun Heaven City, so Qin Yun did not go. After Qin Yun opened the Heavenly Sword Formation, he contacted Little Phoenix. Bai Suxin just happened to be with Little Phoenix. Xiao Yun, do you want me to talk to Sister Shang Yun? Bai Suxin asked through sound transmission Divine Pearl. Regarding your matter, Sister Shang Yun has already ordered that it must not be spread out. Don't worry, before the truth comes to light, it will not be spread out. Not necessarily. Qin Yun sighed. I have already made arrangements. I want to go find the law enforcement world's heaven secret sect. I heard from the little palace spirit that the 9 Yang Divine Palace's palace king has been changed. You are no longer the 9 Yang Palace king. Bai Suxin faintly sighed. Why is it like this? Sister Shang Yun sighed. She also doesn't know what to say. Because the 5 kings went through life and death with Yu Shang Yun, their relationship was so good, but now they are all gone. Among them, Blood Moon King was personally killed by Qin Yun and Dark Moon King self-destructed in front of Yu Shang Yun. In that kind of situation, no matter what Qin Yun said, he would not be able to explain it clearly. And it is already very rare that Yu Shang Yun did not attack him. You tell Aunt Xiao and the others, tell them not to worry too much, Qin Yun said. And they all believe you, Bai Suxin said softly. Xiao Yun, wait for a while, I will go find Sister Shang Yun and ask her about it. No need. Qin Yun hastily said. Wait until I save Shueiyue and the others, everything will be fine. Oh, that's right, did you say anything to her? She is in Fragrant Charm Pavilion, we don't dare to go in. Maybe wait until she calms down, she will be a bit better. Bai Suxin lightly sighed and said. And don't provoke her. She suddenly lost so many sisters, she must be very sad. When Qin Yun closed his eyes, his mind is filled with Yu Shang Yun's resentful and killing intent gaze. You are also not feeling well. You were framed, but she cannot accept this matter for a while. Bai Suxin also feels that it is very difficult to deal with. Qin Yun said with smile, Suxin, don't think too much. Everything will be fine. You are in Divine Moon of Heavens, if anything happens, remember to contact me immediately. Got it, Bai Suxin replied. Although Qin Yun wants to leave, his teleportation pearl is at the Through Heaven Sword Formation. If he needs it, he can return as soon as possible. Through heaven sword formation can lead to divine court heavenly city, and from divine court heavenly city can go to divine moon of heavens. It is very convenient. Qin Yun and Bai Suxin are holding the rear. They are hesitating whether or not they should contact Yu Shangyun. Yu Shangyun also has the sound transmission divine pearl he gave her. Just as he was hesitating, his sound transmission divine pearl suddenly flashed and vibrated. Qin Yun, I want to meet you. Yu Shangyun's ice-cold voice came over. Alright, where is it? Qin Yun is very happy in his heart. He is very surprised and immediately replied. Outside the through heaven sword formation. After Yu Shangyun finished speaking, she no longer contacted Qin Yun. Qin Yun is also near the through heaven sword formation. He released the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda and patiently waited. Yu Shangyun arrived very quickly. Qin Yun did not even know when she arrived. She is wearing black armor that wrapped her entire body. She stood outside the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda. She has no intention of entering. Aren't you coming in? Qin Yun asked. Qin Yun, we are done. Yu Shangyun directly said. Her voice is ice-cold and emotionless. When Qin Yun saw that Yu Shangyun took the initiative to see him, his heart was originally filled with joy, but now he can't help but feel pain in his heart. Don't worry, Shueiwe, Fengyue and Huaiwe, they will definitely be able to return, Qin Yun said. If possible, I will also try and see if I can find Dark Moon and Blood Moon. Don't explain any more. I don't believe you, Yu Shangyun said coldly. From today onwards we will cut off all ties and owe each other nothing. All right, I won't entangle myself with you. Qin Yun's eyes flashed with grief and said, I only hope that we won't become enemies. Yu Shangyun did not say anything else. She decisively turned around and flew away. Qin Yun stood on the spot for a long time, then let out a long sigh and stored the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda. He madly ran on the ground. He did not fly, as if he was venting the sadness in his heart. He ran towards the divine court heavenly city for who knows how many days. Only when he was tired did he stop. At night, Qin Yun rested on a rushing river, looking at the divine moon in the sky. Just as he was engrossed in watching, the sound transmission divine pearl suddenly received news from many of his friends. After receiving the news, Qin Yun's brows furrowed. What's going to come will come. Qin Yun sighed. Xiao Yun, what's wrong? Ling Yun asked anxiously. The matter of me being in Divine Moon Heavenly City has been spread out. Suddenly, it spread out overnight, mainly saying that as the acting clan emperor of Divine Moon Clan, I suddenly turned into an evil devil and then raped and killed 5 dukes. Qin Yun said. Ah? Didn't Suxin say that Sister Shangyun ordered not to spread it out? Ling Yun cursed in low voice. Could it be that there is a traitor in Divine Moon Clan? Or is it that Sister Shangyun is so angry that she spread it out? Qin Yun shook his head and said, She wouldn't do that. She should investigate this matter thoroughly. Ling Yun said with some sadness, Xiao Yun, what about you? Don't you want your reputation? It's very unpleasant to hear. It's time for me to lay low for a while. This is also good. Qin Yun is already mentally prepared. What made him gratified is that his friends trust him very much. They all think that it is just a rumor. Of course, only his friends believe him. However, many people in Divine Desolate believe that rumor. Because when Qin Yun was fighting the divine nations outside Divine Heaven City, he used the extreme evil devil divine power and became very terrifying. His entire body is filled with dreadful evil power. In addition, there are law enforcers adding fuel to the fire, as well as some people who want to suppress Qin Yun. They are constantly slandering Qin Yun. Qin Yun originally wanted to go to Divine Court Heavenly City, but because of the rumor, he did not go. He only greeted Xie Wufeng, Heavenly Ghost Ancestor, and in Wukong through sound transmission Divine Pearl, and thanked them for their trust. What made Qin Yun somewhat surprised is that the nameless old man told him that Yu Shangyun appeared in Divine Court Heavenly City and participated in a meeting in the Divine Court. She said that the matter about Qin Yun and the 5 Dukes of Divine Moon Clan is just a rumor. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.